lower this down. Pull this over. All right, so, yeah, I was like, we're here.
Welcome to the community roundtable.
Yes, the community testing roundtable.
We should probably introduce ourselves too at the start, rather than doing it later.
All right. Well, I'm Kuroki Hono, aka Best Controller NA. I test PvP 1v1 stuff, controller stuff, and I also help out with DPS testing. I was also, I pretty much took the privilege of doing the extensive weapon testing for the feedback part of that. I ended up posting like a whole bunch of Excel sheets, basically trying to get them to somewhat balance the weapons, reported a whole bunch of bugs, blah, blah, blah. Crappy, I guess you can go next.
Crappy heals. I'm pretty irrelevant.
Fucking bum.
I know a thing or two, though.
All right, Mighty.
Mighty Hornet, I'm also garbage. With Crappy, we did a lot of the DPS balance testing. Crappy mostly did the hybrid stuff, weapons and powers, and I kind of focused more on the play from the tray and combo stuff, and then we would switch over and test each other's numbers to make sure that we could replicate what we were getting. We did way too many damn runs on those. I helped. Well, I wouldn't say that I helped out with the trolling. I trolled a couple of times and basically just listened to everything you guys said. Yep, that sounds great.
All right. And then Obsidian?
Yeah, their league name says it all anyway, server's worst.
We are, but we're but.
No, when I'm Obsidian Chill, I dealt with some of the DPS stuff, not as much. I mainly focused on the support roles, testing all the tanks and controllers. I don't heal anyway, so that didn't matter.
All right. And then our healing testers are technically not inside of this chat, so we'll just speak on behalf of what we've heard them say on the forums.
Direct all your questions to Perfection.
Yeah, Perfection. What's the name of it? I was like, Perfection's forum name is Celestial Powers, if I remember right, or whatever. You'll probably be able to see one of his posts inside of the developer discussion for what's the name of it for healers for that feedback. You'll also see Charmed Legacy. Those two were the main healing testers inside of the group that we had. So any questions that you have that aren't answered by something that we end up saying, you can feel free to message them on the forums or whatever, send them an inbox or just reply to one of their comments if you see their name. But yeah, so to begin with, I have DPS listed first. So I'm just gonna go since I already have the format of tank sealers and trollers or whatever, I guess we can just go in the order that I have written down, I guess. First things first, fire DPS comments. Crappy, I'll let you go first.
Are there people commenting on the fire DPS in the forums? I haven't read any of the individual threads. I'm trying to stay out of the forums because they're pretty.
No, I just mean in general, comments that you want to say, or maybe the history of fire DPS as it progressed over the stats revamp / what was the final stage of it, shit like that.
You know what I'm gonna say about fire? I think fire is actually pretty fucking awesome. You could play with weapons, play from the tray. A lot of people are sleeping on it though on live server and thinking it's garbage, but fire is actually very well-rounded.
Those power costs though on those dots.
Yeah, the power costs are pretty high, but
and then play cascade.
They've got what, 2 400s and a 300 on their rotation.
What is it?
Yeah, I think Firebird's got. Yeah, I think. Wait. Is Firebird's 300 or is it still a 400? I know they buffed it to a 400. They over buffed it. I remember that.
It was a 450, something like that.
Yeah, Firebird's is pretty up there. I think that's a 4 now.
I was like, Fireburst was perfectly fine as a 300, and then they buffed it up to a 400.
Oh, yeah, I don't know why they did that, man. They screwed it when they did that.
But I see a lot of comments where people are talking all the damage is so reduced. I think a lot of people are missing what the correlation between, stat revamp 1.4 or whatever, when all those parsers were 40, 50k, to what they are now, where they're 6, 7, 10k.
Yeah, I was like, we've been scaled back 2, 3 times or whatever. We've had to go back and redo numbers where the whole system or DPSing has changed specifically.
Think of it I know not too many players are still around, but these numbers are pretty much the exact same numbers we were seeing during T5 days, Nexus Paradox. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's probably more 10k crits than you'd see, but like even mass terrors back in the day, some finishers were critting for 10k, so the numbers are pretty much exactly the same as what you'd expect back then.
Okay, so that's actually pretty good then. That's convenient. All right.
You know, I just think people are in shock because, you know, everybody went from hitting 180Ks, 200Ks, stuff like that, like such big hits, and now like your big hit is like 20K.
Yeah, and the length to complete everything. Like if you're running alerts with like 2 bad DPS, that SJ or War Crimes can turn into like, you know, 40 or 50 minute affair real quick.
Oh yeah, you really notice it if you're running with bad DPSs now.
Yeah, you have to play those objectives like on the Ultra Humanite fight. The couple of times that I've been in there like with FUD groups and they ignore the objectives, man.
And you really got to play those objectives on the first boss of JFA because you're not DPSing through his healing back anymore.
Nope.
You'd just be there forever.
Oh, yeah.
I like that though. I died in the fucking alert in one of the alerts, you know, because I was just like, oh, CR scale. I just ran in there like I was a beast, and I just tried to DPS through everything my first time.
I do like that recent change with the power regen increase on superpowered, because now I'm seeing the old meta back where you don't really need a troll in the alerts as long as the other roles can like manage their power. You're not stuck running like a healer, you know, a troll and 2 DPS, so you can run 3 DPS still.
Unless you're combo power guy.
Yeah.
Alright, so I was gonna say, speaking of combo powers, next up is the Earth DPS. Me personally, I'm just gonna say, like, from this, like, cause I was testing Earth for like the longest, like, I'm still not happy with Totem basically being almost like close to useless for DPS. But originally, whenever Earth first came on test server, like Upheaval was like ridiculously strong. Like Upheaval was like competitive / slightly above competitive damage wise, and then they nerfed the hell out of it. And then Jackhammer was still performing hella weak. Jackhammer got buffed like once or twice and was still underperforming rotation wise. And then toward the end of the stats revamp, they finally buffed up Jackhammer to actually doing like really, really good damage, and I was actually stronger than Upheaval. And they reduced the cooldown on it by half. It used to be a 6-second cooldown, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was like the last few days they buffed Jackhammer. Plus, because before you used to have to run Crystal.
From test server to live server, Jackhammer.
I don't know. Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and check some stuff. Probably have some friends make sure they didn't screw over anything like what they did for PvP. But we'll say that for later on.
I was playing with Earth right before it went live, like before they took our test server down. Just messing around with it because I think Earth is like such a cool looking power. I was thinking of switching my tank to it, you know, because nature, Earth, you know, Earth's kind of naturey. I was like, yo, go Earth, and like I was messing around with it, doing the Jackhammer stuff, and I mean it was good, but it's not live. It wasn't live server good.
Well, I think part of what's going on, I mean, like I pulled up our chart here that we turned into the devs right before the update, and what we've got down, we've got a 14.5 for Earth melee, and that's like mid/melee with the Jackhammer stuff. And only Rage Melee is better than that. Like, only Rage Melee can do, like, more damage unless you're running some kind of, like, weird beach ball thing back in the day. But the thing I think you have to remember is, like, sparring target damage is different than in-content damage. You know, Rage Melee can be kind of tricky because of, like, the way that you lunge at stuff. And, you know, sometimes you're not always hitting 2 targets or more.
Interrupts.
Kind of lose. Yeah, whereas like Jackhammer, you just kind of stand there, you pick a good spot, and you stand there, and you get off damage, and you're hitting everything around you. And so I think it's one of those deals where like, yeah, it may not be as good on the sparring targets, but just the way that it works mechanically, it plays better in content.
Just like Electric, man. Electric, you look at it on the parser, and it's really not. It looks average-ish on the parser. But then when you take it into content, it works totally different.
Right, and we had always had that asterisk, too, where we were like, yo, it looks low, but you have to keep in mind we're parsing on 3 targets, and when we take it over to 8 targets, it does ridiculous damage.
Yeah, because you got Tesla Ball on what, Electrocute, not splitting? Or is it Arc?
Yeah, Arc.
Tesla and Arc.
Yeah.
It's just like Nature, too. Like, you could parse pretty crazy on the 3 targets with Nature with 3 dots, but then, like, when you run up to some ads in a raid, you don't go and try to stack fucking 3 dots on some ads in a raid because everything will be dead by the time you spread those bitches and try to do a couple burst powers. So like you have to take like that parse with a grain of salt. Because I mean, if you're putting 3 dots on ads and fucking raids, you're getting doo-doo down because everyone has those motherfuckers 3/4 the way killed before you even do any real damage. It's like people just have to learn to read the parsers and then translate it.
It's always been like that meta though. Like even back on test when you had those 3 sparring targets that you could DPS all the way down and use the log analyzer, like people are like using those to base their rotations off, like people like JCG and Kaiser and stuff. But you gotta think about like those sparring targets are in a perfect range for conic DPS. They don't move. They don't like get pulled around with tanks or knocked back. So it's like perfect testing conditions where it's not going to translate to raids. That's why I was always a practical tester. I hated those sparring target dummy videos because it's not the same environment.
Right. Not at all. I like to do it, but I don't base everything off of that. Like it's stupid to. You know, like it gives you a good baseline for what might be good.
Yeah.
It gives you a good start in place. But you're never going to know if something truly works until you do it. Just like I said with nature, like you're like, wow, this rotation is fucking beast. And then you try to bring that into a raid and you try to use that everywhere, you would get creamed. I mean, you do good on the bosses.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like old Terra Tendrils on test with the fan on test with all the conic. It was all based on positioning if fan was going to hit or ram was going to hit depending on the cone.
Yeah. Crappy, how long did you have to bitch for cones or whatever? Like,
oh my god, yo, I was bitching for fucking like what, 4 or 5 updates on the cone width, and the cones were so skinny that like if you had to stand max range to hit everything on the 3 sparring targets. Now you would have to stand max range to hit stuff. With
like shit, you made you made one video, I think it was with what's the name of it, with Rage Tank's pool, where you were like point blank and you couldn't even like pull all 3 of the ads.
I'm using Ragebringer standing dead in front of the ads like you would be as a tank, and I'm hitting them with Ragebringer and I'm only hitting 2 of them because the cones were so small. Like there was no way you could have pulls like that in the game. That would be fucking terrible. Cones are still a little too small. AoE radiuses, in my opinion, are still a little bit too small for some stuff. You could notice if you go to the 8 sparring targets. If you target like the far left, you notice how many targets you don't hit. And then when we were on live before the update, with most powers, you could hit everything like that. I noticed it with nature and my spreading. Like, sometimes I have to spread stuff twice just because the radius on the powers is so small and I can't get my dots on everything in one spread. Just kind of fucking annoying for nature guy, but whatever. And then, just in general, like I think a lot of AoEs are still a tiny bit too small.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. And then I also I forgot, like you probably should have said this at the beginning as like as like a helpful reminder for anybody that is testing loadouts right now. In general, the higher the power cost is, the more damage that it does. However, there are also several factors that they took into consideration. So whenever you're trying to find loadouts or you're trying to give feedback, keep some of these things in mind in terms of the trade-offs that they're basically forcing us to make that we pretty much don't want to make, but they're kind of forcing us to. One being that if you want something to have less power cost, then obviously the damage is going to go down. If you want the damage to go up on something, then they're probably going to end up increasing the power cost. If a power has a certain type of CC associated with it, like if I remember right, different levels of CC, different types have different levels of damage penalties. So like I think for Quantum in the feedback section, I think somebody pointed out there was like anywhere between like a 10 to 20% like damage penalty on some of the moves that had CC. So every so often you may find like a 200 power cost move that loses in damage to a 100, or a 300 that loses to a 200.
Yeah, so because you would think you'd want to run that supercharge generator because it's going to help your supercharge, but a lot of those moves were nerfed for damage wise, so it's all situational for your loadout. Like I know, since Berserk is so crazy as a supercharge, you want to run that Relentless Anger, but the power's animation is trash. You can't clip it because the timing doesn't work, so it's really not practical to run Relentless Anger because they changed it so much.
I was gonna say, if anything, they should have turned that into like a secondary revenge if they were gonna go with that animation.
Yeah,
it's like pretty much a mini combo on it.
Anything that's a supercharged generator relatively does doo-doo damage.
Generally,
I was just like,
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, lightweight strike was like the only exception to that, and then they went through and nerfed it, and I was pissed off after that.
Yeah,
I remember when
the munitions one's not too bad. The munitions shrapnel is like 2 or 3K.
I mean, I get lucky. I get to use mine because it's one of my dots for circuit call, but I only get to use it once. You know, every once in a while when I'm applying dots. And even then, it does that in absolutely no burst damage. It's only just puts a dot out there. So if you're trying to spam it inside content, it's only ruining your DPS. Plus, they all have 6-second cooldowns.
I think you'd also want to mention too that like stuff that moonlights in another role is like another thing, like stuff that gives heals.
Oh yeah,
stuff that's
like
a debuff in controller stance. Like that stuff is also nerfed.
Except Dark Lightning.
Except Dark Lightning.
I fucking heal people when I DPS.
Yeah, same thing with the electric healing DPS stance is pretty beast.
Yeah.
You just gotta watch out in raids like Darkside War Factory, because that thing, like Tesla Ball, stays up the whole time, so you're nuking those ads as soon as they come out, and you're getting hit.
Oh yeah, you gotta be very careful
That's a good point.
with those dot fields like that. That's when you get wrecked really fast.
Alright. And then the next DPS is Atomic. Crappy, I'll let you go first, because you actually like Atomic. I hate it now.
You know what? I was running the one tap right before it shut test down, and it definitely wasn't what it was. But it wasn't bad, and it's really quick DPS. I was thinking maybe it would still be good.
I was just like, for me, it's just the extra power consumption. I don't like the extra power consumption for slightly less damage. That I
it's
don't.
It's a two-troll thing for sure.
Yeah, I was just like Atomic. I was like, Atomic originally had 1 tap and 2 tap, but then they went back, and I think like they buffed the damage on like the second combo input, and they transferred some of the damage from the first tap to the second tap, to where now the 1 tap Atomic rotations do slightly less damage than what the 2 taps do, but obviously you run through a whole lot more power for clipping reasons, so that kind of irritated me. It's actually funny too, because Atomic melee was garbage for like what up to 1.6, like 1.7.
A lot of time, yeah, for like the whole entire test server time. It was
like
doo-doo.
Atomic melee was trash, and then all of a sudden at the end of it, I don't know what they did. Like a part of me still wants to go back and see exactly what they did, because I don't think they changed the power cost of it, because it would have hurt tanks too much. I want to go back and see exactly what they did to make Atomic combos actually do like good enough damage to where you could run the AM version. What's the name of it? The AM era version of Atomic rotation for melee. I was like, that really threw me for a loop. I was not expecting that to actually come back. I was just expecting that to just be gone.
I think right at the end they buffed the final hits on Atomic separately to make them more viable, and that's when the melee became actually really good.
All right.
I think Atomic is in a really good place, to say the least. I think it's a great power for sitting all the way in the back and doing crazy DPS. A lot of people are sleeping on that though.
Yeah. And then we have Ice, which it was one of my favorite powers back before Crappy considered iconic powers to be cheating on parses.
You know, I was trying to make Ice just be Ice.
Gag Ghost plan.
Like freaking, it's like Ice would have been so perfect with that. What's the name of it, with the Sonic Cry?
Sonic Cry
at the end. Like freaking Sonic Cry looked so beautiful in the, like, what was it, 1.5? Whenever I made that video for Sport now.
Yeah, that shit was real good with it.
I was just like, Ice was actually pretty good or whatever, since what's the name of it, since they had 3 DLTs. The only problem with Ice was what was it, for like the longest? I don't think it got up to like 1.6, 1.7. The what was it? I think it was the Ice Boulder Strike. It was like the ranged move was like a 200 for the longest. Now up to a 300.
That was really putting Ice in a bad place. Having it with that.
I think Ice is in kind of a weird spot now, because from what I've seen from live, people really don't know what to do. So I've seen about half the players that are still Ice just run the AM rotation, just like spamming Frost Blast and putting up like Tempest and stuff. Like they
too, and I'm like, yo, are you really Arctic Gustin right now?
Yeah.
Like,
I was using,
don't let me catch you using Arctic
and like
Gust.
I know the Frost.
I wasn't using Guts. I was using Frost Blast, and then it was some other move or whatever. I think it may have been Avalanche or something over there. I can't remember. But
usually it's Frost Blast, Ice Boulder Strike, and the Snowball, and then you clip Tempest with something. You can do Ice Bash, and then take like the crit head, or clip it with Reflection. But really, like, there's no go-to ice yet. I've seen like hybrid Lotos do okay. I've seen the play from the trade do okay. It's just ice is kind of. It's kind of like gadgets.
Snow Devil, man. Snow Devils are really good.
Yeah, Snow Devil's good too. You just don't really have a loadout spot for it in some places. So it's like ice is like gadgets where like you really don't know. There's no cookie cutter at all.
If you play ice hybrid, precision spec is.
I heard you could have Snow Devils, 2 Snow Devils, but I don't know if that. I know you can have 2.
It's
just like gadgets, like 2
I
turrets.
used to get it on a test server, and it used to freak me out first because I had never used pets or whatever for what's the name of it for DPS testing before, and like whenever I was parsing, I was like, yo, why are my crits like 10% lower? I'm like, the fuck happened?
Yeah, they actually said that's intended.
Yeah,
Snow Devils to stack.
The swarm.
What happened is
the swarm still here? With nature?
Swarm doesn't stack, but what happened with Snow Devil is Snow Devil originally has, I don't know if it has I'm pretty sure it has a 15-second cooldown, like a 15-second duration, but they changed the cooldown to 12 seconds. So now when you recast your Snow Devil, it's still out for those remaining 3 seconds of the duration, so you could have 2 of them out for that extra 3 seconds. Swarm doesn't do that, though. If you Swarms has the same thing. It has a 15-second duration, but a 12-second cooldown. But if you recast it on the 12 seconds, the other one goes away. But that's fair. Ice needed that little bit of Snow Devil stacking to help it out. That puts it in a good place. It's also nice to use with a full precision build because your Snow Devil damage doesn't get affected from how you spec. So if you're spec full precision, Snow Devil is still a really good tool for that.
Not too many people full prec though.
I mean, maybe that's something people should look into for Ice. But Ice is pretty good too with Frost Blast. But Frost Blast, I've been steering away from it because it has a bug.
They still haven't fixed that shit?
Yeah, man, they didn't fix it, man. I put in another little thing about it.
We went through like 3 versions of stats revamp, but they still haven't fixed that yet?
It's crit and high.
Well, yeah, it's probably one of the hardest hitting moves in the game. So you know how, like, say you're casting like Frost Blast, Fire Burst, something like that, you want to immediately be on your next power, so you might preemptively tap your next power before it's over. Well, if you do that with Frost Blast, you'll actually cancel out the damage from Frost Blast. So you have to like literally wait until Frost Blast damage hits and then cast your power. You can't be on the buttons before it goes off.
Yeah, they did that with a lot though.
Yeah, cooldown on it too.
Yeah, like when Fear Gas first came out, like if you clipped it too early, it was like no damage. Same thing with Fan. Like if you're doing Ram, if you tap Fan too quickly and went into Ram, like Fan didn't register either.
Well, I think those were just bugs because Fire Burst isn't like that.
Yeah.
I could cast.
I wasn't
Fire
sure because
Burst.
I didn't know if they were trying to nerf like clip heavy
were
people.
Little bugs.
Yeah, I was like, Fear Gas got changed, thank God, or whatever. After Penryn ended up reporting that or whatever, Fear Gas ended up getting fixed, thank God, because that pissed off a lot of people whenever Fear Gas was like if you jump cancel Fear Gas too fast, you got no damage. Like,
but now, like Fear Gas is like I know I keep jumping to gadgets, but like Fear Gas is so different now. Like it's like there's no channel, you can't jump clip it. The animation dovetails like a lot less. Like Fear Gas is just a weird power now.
They did that with a lot of channels, like Roar is a channel, and I used to be able to jump cancel it, and no matter what you do, you can't jump.
Wait, cancel it. What's the name of it? Isn't it?
I don't know.
Besides Fear Gas, still a mobile, like a mobile cancel, or whatever. Because I remember at one point in time, including Fear Gas, all of them were like mobile channels, like what Arctic Gus was, or whatever. Like they all got changed into that category. I know Fear Gas got changed to where we could go through, and we could jump cancel. Did they change the other channels too? Like what is it? Like it's not Dreadful Blast. It's what is the one from Rage? I can't think of it.
Plasma Reg.
Plasma Reg. Yeah, I was like, are you still forced inside of that one, or can you jump cancel it?
No, you're forced.
Damn. You guys was the only one.
Fear Gas
for Rage, that's your only option because Galling Eruption is still pretty. It's like a 10-meter range. Like you don't have Galling Eruption still pretty. It's not melee, but it's like melee mid range. So Plasma Reg is your only range dot.
Yeah. And then Rage melee DPS has been the same since the start of the revamp. They just have that second portion on Outrage now.
I've seen some people like mix in Frenzy and stuff like that, but it's still, I think it's still like Outrage, E-Chain, and Revenge with like severe punishment.
Yeah. I don't like the E-Chain anymore. Just because it's single target.
Wait, it doesn't do 3? Oh, on the first hit. Okay, yeah.
On the first hit, yeah.
Okay, I was about to say the second healable single target too. I was about to say, wait, what the fuck did they do?
Revenge though, it's like either I think it's a 100 power cost, might be 2, but like I've seen some 10k crits from that one.
Yeah, that's a good power. That's single target too on the first hit though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's not a bad rotation though. I was having better results with Dreadful Blast actually.
Hey Crappy, did you ever
especially in raids?
Hey Crappy, did you? What's the name of it? Did you have like any old recordings saved on your computer from like back when Rage was God tier on test server?
Oh
like
my God,
you know that area that I
remember. I think I do. I was putting up like the first 100k plus Parsons. Doing just retarded stuff.
Like Rage was broken right there.
It was out of
the only thing I don't like what they did with Rage is that before you had Severe Punishment, which was the tanking side raid crash, and then you had Relentless Anger, which was like the DPS side, where your healing back was based on damage. So you weren't stuck using the tank one, but now you're stuck using the tank one to clip everything.
Yeah.
I still liked where they had kind of like a DPS side to Rage crash, and then now it's purely just the tanking side.
I think they took that out though, so they could give us any range move, isn't it? Is that what they
well, Relentless Anger got changed to the Supercharge Generator. It completely changed,
yeah, that's
and then we
got
that.
Oh, all right.
We got that Fanatic Blast power, which is like
they took out Ferocity or whatever, which was like the second same breakout.
Yeah, Frosty's gone. Yeah.
I think let's talk about that, man. I think taking out 2 immunities is a bad idea. I don't like that. Maybe I'm just old school and stuck on 2 immunities, but I totally don't like that.
For me, I guess they weren't trying to get. I think they were trying to get people away from running like the same loadouts for like all the tanks, even though fire is the exact same. But if you're running 2 immunities and you had to run 2 immunities, and it was just taking up an extra slot. But I think the devs, because they don't understand the playstyle, they don't know how much that's going to be impactful. Like anyone that's run FOSS SM knows the triads. Like if you don't have 2 breakouts for those, you're getting pulled around all over the place. You're getting taking massive damage. Like there's fights even in Grundy with the
Dancer.
The Fire Dancer, yeah. Like you're like things like that where you're not used to have if you had 2 tanks or even 1, you had 4 immunities. Now you have 2. So it's and those tanks might have to use the immunities for themselves. So it's not like any helpful to the group at all.
Yeah, that really stinks. Like it was a good tool for.
Yeah. Like pretty much any of the Manhunters and Lanterns from OSM, like you needed breakouts for those, or you were getting pulled into their AoE fields.
Even in Ultimate Soldier, you know, for the electricity on the last boss, you know, that was nice to have that extra immunity for.
Yeah, you get breaked out, then you have to worry about being, knocked out of block and taking the second hit. So it's just, I don't understand the reasoning behind taking out second immunities. There's no like logical reason for that. It's just it's right now people aren't seeing the changes, but I think later on they'll see the big change. And
yeah, once we get some harder stuff and SM comes out and you're really looking for that extra immunity, because now, I mean, our guys have been more reliant on their breakout trinket for an immunity and trying to just camp on their immunity for us if we really need it. You know, and I mean that's cool in a way, but
yeah, Ice didn't really need 2. Like you could get away with it. It's more just it was because it was an extra shield. But like Rage, you needed 2 immunities to prevent your Rage crashes. Getting CC'd while you're doing that. Fire, you needed it because the old Fire was a turtle playstyle, so you needed your immunities to get back in a block. Now that's not so much the case.
And then
just a little bummer.
And then going into the healer powers, first one I have written down is Celestial DPS. Celestial. Where do we even want to start off with? Do we want to mention the beginning of whatever of Celestial, the struggle that we had to go through?
It seemed like Celestial is probably like, the most changed power set on Revamp. Like had the most updates.
Probably, and that's one reason why the healer side is probably so damn power hungry.
Dude, power hungry is crazy for healing side, man. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish with that.
But I was like, what? How long was Smite Haunt actually king for 3 targets? Like, I think Fatal found like a rotation for a single target early on that could beat Smite Haunt after like the first or the second time that Smite Haunt got nerfed. Like, I think Smite Haunt got nerfed like what 2-3 times I think total.
Like, it took like 3 nerfs.
It was like 44, 45 originally, and then it got nerfed to 40, and then I think it caught another fucking nerf whenever they went through and they redid the damn damage values. I think.
I don't know how that was even a thing. When they were balancing the combos, how the quickest combos were doing the best damage.
Yeah, I was like, Smite Haunt was like trashing like every other combo on 3 targets. Like Admonish, Blight, Wrath, Consume Soul, Retribution, everything else was getting just blasted by Smite Hunt repeatedly.
Smite
Like,
Hunt was
we
the
didn't
best
even
thing on
test
test.
anything else.
Well, it's just like when Celestial came live, it was just Retribution spam the whole time.
Right.
That's
Like
boring.
you could
too,
try
man.
to
Nobody
get
wants to play like
tricky
that.
and mix in like a haunt or I think the only rotation that beat it was if you're good enough to jump clip the Defile rifle clip. But like everything else, it was better just to keep spamming Retribution and the buffs.
But yeah, like that ended up causing problems because like what's the name of it? Because Admonish and Platinum, Wrath of the Presence, etc. Like all of the other combos besides Smite Hunt took like I want to say maybe like 2-3 power cost increases throughout the course of the revamp, which inadvertently affected healing. Yeah, you got increased healing out from it slightly, but it still ended up costing significantly more power, and that was partially done in order to bring up the other combos to the same as what Smite Hunt was. Like for perspective, like if I remember right, like all of the other combos used to parse anywhere between 30 to 36,000, I think, on 3 targets under the first set of values for DPS testing. But then Smite Hunt was parsing at like 44, and then even after it got nerfed, it was still sitting at 40. So it's like you're looking at like a 30% damage increase relative to all the other combinations that you could possibly do with Celestial compared to Smite Hunt.
Which doesn't make much sense to me. Like, go ahead.
I was just saying it was super quick damage, so like it was usable absolutely everywhere. It was just so dominant.
Like I figured Celestial would have been okay and been the least issue power because Spore is still around. Spore pretty much designed Celestial in the beginning, so you think like he's still around, he should know what Celestial needs and what it doesn't need, but I don't know what happened there.
The thing is, they were trying to do blanket changes to everything. Like they wanted, well, we're gonna do this blanket change and it's going to work for every combo set, when that's not the case, because some combos like Celestial, you do longer combos and the input in the middle doesn't do any damage, so like that kind of alienates Celestial from some changes. Then Atomic has 3 input combos but it does damage in the middle ones. Light, you're doing 1 combo, 1 input, so that's different.
Yeah, plus they had to
Like,
change
and
all
they
the
just tried
values
to do
because
the
before
same change.
the initial hit was might and all the dots and constructs were precision for like Celestial, so like they had to balance it across that. You couldn't just have all the same values for might.
And I'm sitting here thinking too, or whatever, now that I got to thinking about it, because I remember one of like the last arguments inside of the Celestial thread was like, because like that was something that we have been pushing for the controller power sets. We haven't got to them yet where it affected them a lot more. But like I mentioned it earlier that crowd control affects damage out, and one of the last things that somebody was talking about or whatever for Celestial was trying to remove some of the CC in order to get more damage, and I was like, Celestial technically needed CC in order to actually get his combos off inside of actual content. Right. But at the same time, I was like, if it didn't have CC, if it did need the CC in order to actually get off the combo and it didn't have that damage penalty, I wonder would power costs be as high as what they are.
Yeah. Crappy knows all about that. Celestial was what, the last power that didn't get the grace period for the AM if you got interrupted?
My god, yeah, that sucked. And like, not only did you have to battle with getting interrupted, but also the death glitch. Stuff dies and it just stops you mid-combo.
Yeah, a few things are as disappointing as winding up like a plague or something, and then you just stop.
Like the sandbags in JFA, you could literally, somebody could break that sandbag and it will stop your combo. That's crazy. There's nothing more frustrating than stupid shit like that happening.
Oh, God.
I don't even know why that's a thing.
What, the sandbags?
Why stuff dies and they interrupt your combos while you get that little death glitch going on.
Yeah, I know it got a bit tricky with Quantum's time bomb too when it first came out, because of the ads. If you're doing time loop damage on an ad and it died, technically that damage was supposed to carry over for time bomb for the next set of ads. So like when Quantum first came out, like if ads died, you're hitting the next set of ads right away for like 300k boom.
Yeah, you have to get that tap range in really quick or hit them with a power fast. Yeah. A lot of people didn't know that, and they were like, oh, like still now. Even before, like, when AMs were still a thing, like, if you knew that, like, you could do kind of good with Quantum. I'm not saying top DPS good, but you could hang out. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know about the shortcuts, too, like the tap range, the munitions thing, instead of getting 4 seconds to get into your AM. Same with Hardlight, too, it was like 1.5 seconds if you tapped a weapon tap.
Just little things like that. Some people weren't always on it.
And then we have Sword DPS next. I don't actually have that many comments for Sword DPS. Like Sword DPS was okay at first, but then after a while, like I think under the last iteration, the play from the trade play style for me personally wasn't getting as much damage as what it used to do. I'm not for sure. You guys should have played around with it for hybrid, so I'm gonna let you guys talk on Sorcery.
Did you still have Crystal on for Sork? I don't remember.
No, I never ran pets because like that was the thing that I actually liked about Sork and Earth at the beginning of the revamp is that you didn't need the pets. The pets got like buffed to hell to the point of being bugged, and then they got nerfed to still being slightly useful. But like I can like beforehand at the beginning of the revamp, the things that I could put inside of my loadout besides the pets actually made me do the same, if not slightly more damage than with the pets for Sorcery and for Earth, and I loved it whenever it first came out. But it wasn't like that toward the end.
Yeah, let me swing back to Celestial real quick. What I think needs to happen is they've proven to us that they could adjust power cost differently for different roles. I think they need to just adjust power cost for healing on Celestial, Nature.
What's the name? Yeah, that's what
like that.
What's the name? That's what Fatal wanted them to do or whatever. And like I think Tron was trying to explain to him that like basically Atomic was like the special needs kid, which is the reason why they did that. He's just like, if Atomic didn't have that, I was like, look at Atomic.
Yeah, because Atomic needs to stay alive.
Atomic phase was rough with those original power costs. Before they made that switch, Atomic was rough as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I still remember, like, freaking, like the first time I ran Black as Day with Atomic on test server, like.
But they need to do that. They need to start adjusting power costs because, I mean, like a light DPS needs power cost adjustment, I would say maybe.
I was just like, it does. After we talk about the other options or whatever, let's talk about light whenever we get to that. Because there's some other shit that needs to happen light before we talk about the power cost problem.
I'll just say Celestial has some issues.
So Sorcery.
So Sorcery.
I think Sorcery, I thought it was kind of interesting. I don't think that the play from the tray was very good. But it was a lot of fun to like play with weapons. There were a couple of different approaches that you could take to it. I think we landed on Pet. Pet was better for hybrid. Yeah, Pet was best. So if you had the Fury out, you were still doing the best damage. Like, I don't know, it was good, not great though. I felt like compared to all the other powers, like it was in a good spot, but like you weren't gonna like beast people out with Sorcery.
It's not gonna be a
busting out those grand summonings. Well, like I feel like with Sorcery, you're forced to run the Pet because if you're running Grand Summoning and you don't have your own Fury, I mean, Grand Summoning is kind of a waste. You know, because Grand Summoning sucks with one Fury.
Yeah.
And it also sucks if you don't have Offering to power the stuff. So, like, it's only beneficial for you to run the Pet Sorcery.
The Grand Summoning is still, what, the second best supercharge behind Earthquake.
Yeah, Grand Summoning is beast. I mean, you pull that out on some ads, and you just decimate those ads. You know, that's really great DPS right there.
Yeah. For me, I wish they didn't, like, overall with weapons, I wish they didn't buff the Weapon Mastery combos, because we're falling back into, like, Weapon Mastery when it first came out. Like, if everyone's running hybrid, they're all doing dual explosive shot. Like, that's pretty much the only thing they're running. But I'd like when it was before, it was the normal weapon combos are buffed. Like, we saw the staff 4 taps, we saw, like, some rifle ones, you know, one-handed flip slash. Like, I want the basic weapon combos to come back, not this Weapon Mastery stuff again.
I think the basic weapon combos are better, in my opinion. But, I mean, for range, you're limited on range for weapon combos. So, like, you have shield throw isn't bad, and hand blasters. But, like, other than that, for regular ranged AoE weapon combos, there's really nothing else that's super awesome and that's quick enough that you want to do.
Because I wanted Focus. Cause I wanted Focus Blast to be able to do it for staff, and I wanted, what was it, Scissor Kick, because the third hit on Scissor Kick is AoE.
Scissor Kick is great for single target, though.
Yeah, it is.
Like, Scissor Kick is not something to sleep on for single. Yeah. Definitely good.
A Meteor Blast is a bit higher than Solar Flame, too, for DPS. Just awkward.
That was, what's the name of it? That was, that was for the parsing or whatever. That's what I was clipping or whatever. If you clip the animation, Solar Flame or whatever, like Solar Flame has more damage than what Meteor Mass does. it like in and of itself, but Meteor Blast is a faster animation. So if you're clipping, then use Solar Flame. If you're not clipping, then use Meteor Blast. That was the last time I tested it. I didn't do the last iteration for like what, because they pushed us to like 2 days after they did like the last like weapon mastery thingy or whatever. So yeah, but that was the
even
last
back
time
in the previous version of the Revamp. I didn't, because Solar Flame and Fist Slam were OP back in the beginning of Revamp for weapon
yeah, they
combos.
nerfed Fist Slam like hell. Fist Slam got like 2 nerfs probably.
But I didn't even mind
Meteor.
that. Like Solar Flame, like it's still like everyone would be using hand blasters, but it's still a quick combo. Like you're still, it brings back some of that speed from back from Jude 36, but and then they nerfed everything.
I like to play that playstyle too, just because it's faster paced. And between Meteor and Solar Flame, like the discrepancies are so small that you could use either of them, and it's not really going to make or break you.
And then the next power is Crappy. You're probably gonna do the most talking. There's what's the name of it? It's Nature and E. Like I don't know if you want to talk about them individually or if
My
you
2 favorite powers.
Yeah, those. Yeah, that's you.
Rise of the Healer powers. Let's go.
Yeah, we see what kind of pull the devs have with Crappy here, because all the healer power sets got buffed to the roof for damage.
I mean, cause see, like we were talking about this the other day too.
Crappy
like
pulling some strings.
Like powers that had somebody more going to bat for them ended up being, I'm not going to say better powers, but more well-rounded powers and more put together.
Some gadgets.
Yeah, because gadgets really didn't have too many people in there, like sticking up for it. Like the Dark,
Penryn
was really busy with
found all the
school
bugs,
or whatever.
Yeah, just got pooped on for
Penryn was mostly
gave up. You know, and Penryn's a very knowledgeable guy, and he was in there sticking up, but he's a nicer guy, so he's not going in there and being like, yo, this is fucked up and it really needs to be changed and this is what you should do and blah blah blah, and like he's just a little too nice, and sometimes you can't be
Crappy. That's another video you have to post. You have to post what's the name of it? If you have any old videos of the sticky bomb spam.
Yo, I have sticky bomb spam. I have an ollie run with sticky bomb spam.
Well, even now it's still Gauss grenade spam. A lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, because I was like, wasn't sticky bomb? That was whenever sticky bomb was a 300 and had like what, like a 0.5 second cooldown or something.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But like people need to be more adamant about their powers sometimes. You know, just to get it right. Like when electricity first dropped and it had no dots and it was all bursts and some of the dots were 6 seconds, I was like, no fucking way. And people were like, you don't know what electricity needs, Crappy. You're an asshole.
Hold up. Electricity has 6-second dots that got changed to 12 seconds, but I asked them to change Mental's DOTs from 6 to 12, and Mental didn't get it. Are you shitting me?
I think we didn't just go ham on it enough. Like,
that's a community issue there, because if you, because the PS players can't really be on test server unless they have like a laptop or something. Like PS players are aggressive as hell, so if they had that feedback chance, you'd be seeing those threads blow up. And that's why I think
I was relentless on it. There was no way I was letting electricity, such an awesome power, have 6-second dots. Like that makes such a fucking awkward play style. And I was just like, no way. And people were calling me out. They're like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an asshole. Electricity has variety now. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because all you do with electricity is burst now. I was like, don't give me this variety bullshit. You know, and like,
see, like you're a nice guy. I mean, you wouldn't do this, but I'm just throwing it out there. Something that I would do if I was you, if I wanted to be an asshole. I mean, they do have the archive right there, so if you wanted to, you could, I don't know, screenshot a few names. Just saying.
It's just like it would have been like Crappy in the old days going after the escalating might on Nature.
Like, I'm fucking relentless, man. Like, if I think something is like legitly fucked up and like I know I'm kind of in the right, like, I'll go hard on it. Like, I don't give a fuck, because like, I mean, I like the game. I want the game to be good. I want all the powers to do. I want them to all to be as equal as possible. But like, you can't go to bat for every single power and test every single thing like crazy.
Besides, you can do that all you want, but it still comes down to the devs ignoring.
Yeah, it still comes down to if they're going to make those decisions.
When they wanted to remove phase dodge, I played it nice. I wrote paragraph essays on PDF documents of what they could do with phase dodge to make it perfectly balanced. And it's like, no, just wait. Webmastery comes out, so it's like, great. Then they want to take away clipping. The first time I did that, I played it nice. I played it the right way, and then Jens had to stick his face in, and I was like, well, if this is going to happen, then I might as well just burn every bridge I have then.
Right, and that's what it comes down to. Like, I'm nice the first couple times. I'm nowhere near as big of an asshole as I was back in the day.
Make my videos, get IP banned on the forums.
And thus the legend of Obsidian Chill was born.
But, like, I mean, you got to stand up for what you think is right sometimes, and that just didn't happen.
And then what? 3 years later? Oh yeah, Webmastery and AM. That was the wrong direction to take. We're gonna try to roll this back. Oh.
Hey,
yeah, it was only
why don't they read back all those threads so we could all go told you so?
I've been saying that since like 2013.
Yeah, I went through and read some of those really old Webmastery threads, and I was like,
Everyone's like, Webmastery AM is going to be awesome. This is going to be so different than jump clipping. It's going to be so great. It's like, what are you guys talking about? It's going to be terrible.
No
and then all the same people that liked it back then hate it now. It's like, oh, bunch of hypocrites.
Back to Electric. I think Electric is in such an awesome place right now. Electric, it's not the best power, but it's not a bad power.
Electric is one of the best overall powers. That and range.
Yeah, it's in
good for healing, good for damage,
spot.
Good for like melee. Well, not really melee, but good for mid range.
I feel like a lot of powers are like that too. A lot of powers are just in such good places right now. It's just everyone just didn't figure everything out yet.
I think it's neat too. Like a lot of them have a niche, and like Electric's niche is, man, if there's a bunch of shit up that needs to die in a hurry, like,
yeah,
you can.
That's why you bought it. That was Electric when it came out in DLC 1. Electric was the trash DPS, like the trash mob DPS. Like you wanted to finish boss too quickly, you brought like 2 Electric DPS. They would kill all the ads, but when you got to a boss, it was terrible.
It was wait. I thought what's the name of it? Like at least inside all the runs that I did, it was always an Elec or like a fire DPS. There were like top DPSs inside of like every Gates run that I did. Like I thought it was still.
Yeah, that was just because the hallway. If you took the hallway out from Electric DPS, then like they lost a lot of damage because there's just so many ads there.
Okay.
Electric, man. Electric is like a mini rage from range. You know, with your circuit breaker killing ads.
If you had a hardlight DPS with a brain, then he would smoke Gates because of whips.
Yeah. Like Electric,
nature,
great place. Nature is fucking really awesome right now too. It's not so hot on ads. I see a lot of people doing this, because Roar right now sucks up all your dots and does a bunch of burst damage. And I see a lot of people right now like putting their dots out and then instantly taking them away and then putting them out and then instantly taking them away. And I'm like, I was like, that's totally not the way to go. I was like, you use that to like finish off the ads. You don't use that to like do an AM 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boom. Because to do it properly, you need to put 3 dots up, then you need to spread them, and then you need to use Roar. And that's 5 powers. So you don't get any damage till that 5th power. How much damage did everybody else do while you were casting all those powers on those ads? Like, it really doesn't work as good as some people think, especially on bosses. And like, why would you want to keep putting your dots out and taking them away and putting them out? I mean, you're just working against yourself. Just leave the dots out and do some fucking burst damage in between.
At least I don't see any HQ healers are using Bloom anymore.
I'm using Bloom. Listen, everyone's saying HOTS are garbage. And last night we did Ultimate Soldier. All the bosses up.
The channels were okay. They just take a whole lot of power. Those are like 450s, aren't they?
Yeah, well, what you do is you jump cancel Bloom. You let it ride for like a second. So it's just like the normal cast of a power. And about a second in, it has a really big heal. Plus you get all the pheromone heals over times on it. So it's a great group man heal and has really good range on it. So what I did last night, just testing it out, because we're just testing some things that people are saying are garbage. So everyone's like, HOTS are garbage. Brick tanking is garbage. Our guy has been tanking with Brick. You won't even have to heal this dude. That's how good fucking Brick tanking is right now. And everyone's like,
no, it's like I mean, like, how can I put this? Like it's not it's not the tank dying. It's more along the lines of how many times they've had to like resummon Brick.
Brick
like,
don't die that much though. Like
he only died like
Like
2 or 3
freaking
times.
Vados
Yeah,
brick died
and he
like
was-
hell, and then like there was a guy on the forums that said that like his brick died like 10 times inside of a boss fight.
Listen, Keeb was trying to get Brick
I've
fucking
seen Brick
killed.
die too, but I think that's the opposite of people thinking. Brick should be trash because like we shouldn't have pet tanking. That's just boring.
Right? But
True,
I mean, Keeb was trying to get Brick killed. He was standing in the Ultimate Soldier's fire, like just soaking up all the damage and getting Brick in it too, and like trying to get him killed, and he got him killed. But like when you do US with all the bosses up, I mean, it's not hard by any means, but it's definitely more challenging, and there's more stuff to do. There's more ads to pull. The flamethrower is pretty beast, and I mean, to have Brick only die 3 times, and one of them was because you were trying to get him killed, that's amazing. And the damage that the tank doesn't take, like I'm not even joking. Like you literally don't have to heal the guy. Like just a couple little hots and he's good. It's crazy. But I was healing nature an all hot loadout. No roar or anything. I did have Blossom on my loadout, but that's just single target. And I was just hot healing the whole, just hanging out in the back, healing everything with hots. And I had floors for burst, but I usually use that just to keep my pheromones going and time it out for if I need a little bit of burst. But like my main thing was I would save up Bloom for when people took a lot of damage. So say like after the electricity hit and I needed a big heal, what I would do is I'd cast Bloom, I'd give it a little jump cancel after a second in, and then maybe hit Floor, Shaft Grit, or Blossom, and bam, like everybody topped right off. It's like, I don't know why everybody's bitching saying hots are garbage. And my healer's only 198. I have really shitty mods in him, like 7 mods. Like, he's by no means good geared, because I was just mental, so like all my gear was troll gear, so like I just have random shitty gear on my healer. And I was able to heal with hots, just hots like that too, very little burst, like no problem. So I don't know where everybody's getting off where hot healing is garbage and shit like that, because if I had good stats, I drank a buff cola, something like that. I mean, nature's hots are pretty good.
They're probably Sork thinking hots suck because all the circle changes.
Yeah, because you step out of circle and you don't get the heals anymore.
Okay, yeah, that was actually an issue or whatever. We'll talking about or whatever, because I remember one post that Mojo did or whatever where he was responding to a whole bunch of the sorcery hate or whatever, and I'll talk about that once we get to that point. Next up is Munitions DPS. Obsidian, you probably did Munitions, I'm assuming.
It really didn't change. Like, that's the thing. Like, yeah, the mini nuke is OP, but I wish it wasn't because I just don't like the animation. But like, that's pretty much the only change. Other than that, like, you're still running. Like, Big Gun got nerfed. Like, the turret keeps you in place, so really you're not running a supercharge besides Neo Venom. So you're still running Killer Instincts and using the crit head mod. So really, you clip your supercharge generator, clip mini nuke with it, like, and you go into minigun. You do mini nuke, then rail guns, like or not rail guns, chain guns. So it's really still pretty much the AM rotation. It's not terrible by any means. It's just like not good. It's like, in the middle tier. It's just because no cooldowns line up. It's like there's
cooldowns so weird.
Yeah, mini nuke is 6 seconds. So supercharge generator is 6 seconds. So it's like there's nothing to clip with 6 seconds. Like KI is like 12, 18. So it's just awkward. Like. I haven't really tested the
explosion is like 3.5, isn't it? Yeah. Explosion is 3.5. That shit was awkward for Fistum. I remember bitching about that.
Yeah, explosion's okay. It's more for like PvP really, because explosion's like dead melee, and it's just like you can't clip it.
5 meter.
Like if you could bot clip explosion, it might be okay, but like munitions is just kind of awkward. It's not terrible, but it's just awkward.
Yeah, and then I remember whenever I was talking about it, because like, with everything having such a high cooldown, if you were going to try to run a hybrid, like the ideal cooldown time is 3 seconds, and it's like you have 6 seconds on mini nuke, and you have 3.5 on on explosion. So if you were going to try to like force some type of melee hybrid rotation, as as munitions, you'd have to have 3 powers instead of 2, like everybody else. And I remember going inside of the munitions thread, and I think it was Meps that ended up responding, and he was just like, "Oh well, we're not going to change any of the cooldowns because they're all the same as live." And I was like, are you serious?
Yeah, like Munitions was just like one of the only power sets that was completely designed for like a weapon like a AM era. Like all the powers are completely designed, because all the powers that aren't channels suck. Like besides mini nuke now, it's not like you're spamming like smoke grenade launcher and laser net. Like you're not going to spam that stuff. You still have to use the channel powers, but it's just still like, yeah, they have 3.5 second cooldowns, but you're in the channel for the 3.5 seconds. So it's really nothing you can do.
Yeah, but I figured they could do something. I mean, like, I didn't think a mini nuke would end up affecting like the play from the tray that much if they lowered it to like a 303 seconds change explosion from 3.5 to actually being right at 3 seconds. So therefore, you could try to have some type of hybrid size close range.
Yeah,
like,
explosion. I still see like 1K
variety.
crits. Like mini nuke, I've seen crits up to 20K with Neo Venom. Like all the chain gun and minigun, they're all like 2K hits. Like it's okay, but it's just Munitions has absolutely zero melee. Like you can use explosion, but there's no other melee powers. That's it. So it's like Munitions mid range is going to be good. Like it's going to be hard to kind of see where all the power sets lie because you can melee GFA, you can melee US. Like all the content's easy. So when we have like a new raid where you can't melee, I think we'll see a lot more balance between the power sets, because right now like Earth melee, Rage melee, like all these melee power sets are like way ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, range stuff is in a really good spot across almost every single one of the powers. Melee is the discrepancy, because like you said, some powers just don't have a melee and some powers do. And then some powers don't have, like then you have some powers like Earth who aren't really melee, but they do melee-ish damage.
And SM is really not going to be an indicator either, because some power sets are way better on single target than others, so it's going to be the same kind of imbalance. So I think we just need some content where you can't melee. Like even when JFA came out, like you couldn't melee, it was all mid-range. So it's
a lot of the combo powers are good on single target. Like
yeah, but you can't be running like hard light and celestial DPS and SM because you'll be running like 2 or 3 trolls.
I think you're going to run 2 trolls, though, just because of healer power.
Yeah, in the later rounds, yeah, I do definitely.
Yeah, when shit starts to hit the fan and you need to heal a bunch, I think you'll be...
It's over.
2 trolls. Even our electric guy, like when he's solo healing, if you're doing like US straight up, and he has 1 troll, and stuff starts to get hairy, he needs a second troll sometimes, you know, it gets a little sketchy.
Yeah. Alright, and then next up is Quantum DPS. I'm just going to start off by saying, Crappy, you agree with me whenever I said this or whatever earlier or whatever. Like, whenever it first got released on test server, it was probably one of the most complete powers relative to everything else that needed hella changes.
It was, and it was super fun to play. You could play it any way you wanted to, and it was still awesome.
Yeah. And then they nerfed it.
And then to go through and just like recap some of the changes to Quantum. First off, and most notably, if you didn't notice it already, Quantum's Time Bomb does extra damage off a weapon attack. So say you can do like a weapon mastery combo, or like say like Solar Flame clip with the power, you can do like 2 or 3 of those or whatever by the time Time Bomb explodes, and you'll still end up getting the bonus damage off of your weapon. So you can actually run, like if you want to, you can run something like Time Bomb, and then you can have your weapon buff, do a weapon mastery, get the bonus damage. You can run hybrid with say hand blasters, or you can just do like a full-on like play from the tray type spam, like AM era type of Quantum. All of those are available. I think whenever it first got on test, it was 6 seconds. Then like Winter Sable and somebody else, I think it was, tried getting it lowered to 4 seconds. Whenever it was lowered to 4 seconds, they lowered the damage on Time Bomb. I think we went through slightly more power just because we were using a 300 power cost move more often. And some of the weapon combos that we were using were like barely cut in the 4 second window. Like how I mentioned that you could use weapon mastery with it. Like rifle, like what was it? Like the tap, hold. Like the flurry mastery of a rifle has been like really, really strong throughout all of Revamp. And like you barely cut the window for that with 4 seconds. MA uppercut, it like was and still is like the strongest, like well outside of one other thing that I'm going to like how can I put this, weapon mastery alone, technically there's one weapon that can technically parse higher than MA uppercut, but it's not practical whatever it's not practical and it's not fun whatever. In terms of practicality, MA uppercut was the hardest hitting single target, and literally you would hit MA uppercut and you would see Time Bomb explode like half a second after you got the big hit of the MA uppercut. And if you didn't get that big hit from the uppercut mastery, then you wouldn't get your maxed out damage from Time Bomb. So it's like, say if you did like 1 tap and got CC'd, or you did 2 taps and got CC'd, or you did 2 tap hold and got CC'd, that Time Bomb was just going to be absolutely like dookie damage. You were absolutely hit. There was no there was no leeway room. It ended up screwing up the rotation. So they ended up switching it back from 4 seconds to 6 seconds. And then, like, back when Quantum first came out or whatever, just to touch on what Crappy was talking about, it did beforehand, so I'm assuming if they didn't fuck over anything with Quantum in terms of changing the damage values relative to each other, you should be able to run loadouts with and without Time Bomb and parse around the same numbers, which is actually convenient. So if you're one of those people that hate Time Bomb being out for a long period of time, ads die before Time Bomb, or ads run away from Time Bomb, switch it out for something else and use that instead, and you'll still be able to get damn near the same amount of damage. And for anybody that wants to test Time Bomb's range, you can go to the 8 targets, go to, like, I want to say the southwest of the 8 targets, face the wall, and then cast Time Bomb, and it'll come down from the ceiling on the side, and then you can see like 6 sparring targets that end up getting, what's the name of it? They end up having the animation next to them showing that they're within Time Bomb's damage radius or whatever. You can see the range of how far away Time Bomb actually hits. It's actually really, really good.
Yeah, some people were acting like Time Bomb had this little tiny AoE size, and I was like, are you fucking serious, right?
Yeah, I was like, Time Bomb is fucking huge.
The bigger issue with Time Bomb when it first came on Revamp was that Time Bomb would actually block some, like, ranged powers from the other DPS power sets.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's what was the name of it? Is that the reason why they changed it from,
yeah,
like,
that's why they made it drop from the
vertically?
And then apparently, I'm not sure if it's on live, but I saw someone mention that if you use, like, static push or something like that from electric, you can actually push the Time Bomb ball away.
That is going on right now. Like, you can push it off, it repels it or whatever, repulses it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put static push on anytime there's a Quantum guy in the room.
Thinking you're gonna start DPSing, cupping Quantum or whatever on your Elate just to fuck with people.
Quantum is still a good DPS power though if you play it from the tray. It's very power hungry to do good with it.
Yeah, it's just kind of
a whole
like it's good. It's just boring because
you're
just doing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then when Oblivion's off cooldown, like it's nothing really changes.
Yeah, it has absolutely no fun.
Yeah, it feels pretty much like AM Quantum.
Mighty, rifle tap.
Our poor rifle taps.
Oh man, stuff was doing right up until they changed the splitting on the rifle. There was so much, like, play from the tray was all really close and really good, and then they took away the rifle tap, and
it splits on 2 targets. What?
Yeah, you could see the power sets that were basically being propped up by rifle tap damage.
Yeah,
like Gadgets was one, Quantum was another one. And as soon as you took that away, there was a whole bunch of play from the tray stuff that was just garbage.
Yeah, they lost like what? Like we were talking maybe like 2,000 to 3,000 DPS, and that was back when we were at 30 to 35. So like they were doing competitive damage to underperforming.
I think it was 36 when we went through and figured it. It was like 36K.
Yeah, I dropped like almost 4K, like at least 3.5 on a rotation I was doing with nature with rifle taps. I was like, wow, I totally didn't expect that.
On Quantum, looking at our notes, I had it actually better in a precision spec. Like a precision hybrid, I think, is what we parsed the best on it.
Yeah, that was a Time Bomb, too.
Yeah, that was a Time Bomb loadout.
So that was like a strictly boss thing.
Right.
Yeah. And then... as a helpful note for anybody that is using Quantum, if you want to be power conservative, because I didn't see too many people using it, like say for example, if you're just running like say solos, duels, or alerts or whatever reason, if you don't have a controller and you do want to use Time Bomb for any reason, use Inspire Waves because Inspire Waves doesn't have a crowd control damage penalty. It actually does really, really good damage, and it's only a 100 power cost, so you can sit there and pretty much just like spam
take out a cure wave and put in inspiration waves.
Yeah, still does good damage like that.
Yeah, I was just like shit. Until they took away the crowd control from distortion wave, Inspire Wave used to be distortion wave and damage.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy how just their calculations with CC how much they really affect the powers.
Yeah,
I don't think they should ever have that shit mixed in.
All right, and then the next one is Hard Light.
Well, let's go.
Mighty. You have the stage.
This guy's taking up all my power.
Well, like, so I guess a caveat on my testing experience is I jumped on about a month and a half ago. I'd been lurking the forums for basically since the Revamp stuff went live, and I would go and I'd read, like I read Crappy's Battle for the Cones that lasted for months and stuff like that. And then I jumped on where I was like, oh, this is looking pretty good. I'd like to jump in and kind of help. Let's see. It was right around the 4th of July weekend, like right before that, Light was doing actually kind of ridiculous play from the tray, full range damage. I was able to get like 43, 44k just at full range because Construct Fan was hitting ridiculously hard.
As a side note, for people that don't know, the time, like the damage ratio he's talking about is back whenever like mid range damage was like 40 to 42k or whatever on average across the power set. So like 43, 44, pushing 45 at full range is actually really, really fucking good.
Yeah, no, it was insane, and I was like, man, I feel like I should probably turn this in because yikes. And then I got nerfed, and so they saved me the hassle of.
Yeah, Fan, what's the name of it? I think it was Sport or whatever who ended up saying that apparently Fan had a bug for like the majority of hard light testing where Fan was doing double damage. So like the RAM, what's the name of it? Like all the RAM Fan rotations that we had were absolutely shit after that point.
Yeah, it was the same thing with Gadget's EP when it first came out.
Yeah. So where it landed, I would say it's in a decent spot. The creativity of playing it is a little bit diminished, I think, because basically if you're full range, you're Ram Fan. If you can get into mid range, then you're gonna do Ram Whip, and then like you might do some stuff with Chainsaw and Power Whip Thrash if you can go like full on grown up melee.
Like single target is where all the creativity is, though most of it at least.
The single target, stuff like really, really shines. Part of the thing that's affecting it is the CC nerfs. So like minigun into Ram could be a pretty good combo that you can alternate like Ram Fan with minigun Ram. But minigun actually does pretty low damage for even DPS, like as a channel. But if you go back and you figure the DPS for it, I hadn't figured it since they nerfed or they lowered the damage values across the board. But at the time when Ram was doing like 2100 DPS, or 21,000, excuse me, DPS, minigun was doing like 16.6. So it just wasn't really, I mean, you might as well just clip Ram Fan with Ram Fan.
That was
the
like,
other stuff.
Like everything else besides like what was it, Ram and Impact, I think, or whatever, have CC on them for a damage penalty, which sucks.
Yeah, well, even like Fan, like it kind of sucks that like Fan has double CC on it, right? It's a pull and it's a knockdown, and it's a 300 power cost, and so if you were to throw Power Fan, you'd actually be doing as much DPS as if you did Ram, and it's going to cost you 100 more power. So Light is one of those that's it's kind of handcuffed in that respect. I will say though, like I kind of have to give like kudos to the devs because I feel like when Tunzo went about building the AM for Light, cop-out's kind of like a negative term, but I think the cop-out was like, well, what if we just made infinite combos do really good damage, and then we just took away the clipping because they were having a hard time like balancing the clipping and how fast people clip stuff and like how hard should it hit, and everybody kind of clips at different speeds, and so instead of like sitting down trying to figure that out and balance that, they did the infinite combo stuff, which I hate to play. It's infinite combos. Yeah. I was the person inside of that mid-range update thread that had found what we were calling the super clip, where I was doing minigun. What's the name of it? Where I was clipping minigun and Ram with minigun and Ram stupid fast, and it was like upping my parsers by like 3,000-4,000, I think, compared to like the normal for like Tunzo testing standards. Like it was really, really fucking high, and all of a sudden he was just like, "Oh, you can't clip anymore." I was like, "The fuck?" I was like, "Who said this?"
Right?
Yeah, so I will say that like in the revamp, like I think, you know, kind of hats off to Sport and the other developers for like taking on the challenge of saying, you know, people like to play this way with hard lights, and let's give that to them as opposed to like just taking the easy way out and just giving them something. So, but you know, the kind of constraints that we're working under is the power costs, and the damage per power ratio is the lowest for hard light than any other power. It's like 3.5 damage for 1 unit of power, and most stuff is in like the 5 range played from the tray. Most hybrid stuff is in the 8 and 9 range. So it's really, really inefficient, but it's the constraints of like, if you want to play with this, like play this way, this clip style. That's the way we've got to figure it out for now. So
that's the weird thing though, because the whole point of the clip heavy playstyle was that the constructs didn't use any power, so that you could clip your constructs as fast as possible, and you weren't using any power. So that's what gave it that clip heavy fast playstyle. But now having the constructs cost power is just like totally negating that.
Oh,
so
there's what's the name of it? There's that clipping penalty as well, or whatever. What's the name of that Sport was talking about whenever he responded to Mighty one time, or whatever? Because he was like, oh, whatever, like, oh, we can't calculate hard light the same, otherwise hard light will do like 30% more damage. And I'm just sitting here just thinking, I was just like, what's wrong with like maybe 30% more damage if you have damn near triple the power cost of somebody else for some of the rotations?
Yeah. Right? There gotta be a give or take somewhere.
How long were we looking at 3 to 4 controllers? How long were we? What was the name of it? Were we considering that crappy?
Man, like, I don't know, man. I just think the whole combo situation is pretty messed up with the inputs cost and power.
Yeah, even if they changed it right now, they made an update that said tomorrow hard constructs aren't going to cost power. It would pretty much balance it power-wise. Like, it's not like that's going to be hard. It's not like hard. That's going to be OP or anything like that. It's going to bring it back in line with everyone else.
Yeah, the only thing the only other thing that I would have was like something that I was talking with Maddie about trying to get them to do was like trying to remove the CC from DPS, because like I at least want like one other combo to be able to clip for 3 targets at range. I don't want to just clip ram with itself repeatedly. I want it at least to have fan. At least fan was something.
Yeah.
Like I at least need 1 or 2 other options.
Well, that was the bigger issue when they made all the NPCs have 0 willpower, and you just had hard light DPS being annoying as shit, because minigun used to push everything back out of mid range, and fan pulled them all back in mid range. EMPs would miss anything like anything that would miss.
Trying to flip slash stuff, and Mighty just yanking everything all over the place.
Oh yeah, I'd see
chompers with the panic, like hard light,
and I'm like, here's a fan.
Yeah. Hard light was literally the worst power set with 0 willpower adds. Like, you didn't even want them trolls. You didn't want any hard light DPS, because it was just like everything was just like crazy. Like, hard light doesn't need any CC. Like, Spike Quake was fine. Knockdown. Here, go.
Right.
Chompers doesn't need to be a panic. Minigun certainly doesn't need to knock them back 40 feet. Fan doesn't need to pull them in from 40 feet away.
So here we are.
Yeah.
And then the lightweight span got nerfed. I'm still kind of mad about that. I was just like, I knew Mighty didn't like it because because of what it did to Taze, but I actually liked it. If I was like by myself, it was like power efficient, and I come to find out I actually got nerfed at the end. I'm actually kind of mad about that.
Yeah, this is true. So there was it was your call though, Kuro, so you should talk about like.
No, all right. I gotta put this. Originally, like hard light melee, like didn't exist. Like we had we had the old school rotations that we had tried, including like claw into final claw, and then clipping that with ram into whiplash, and then going back into claw, final claw, and that was like the old video, like back when Mad Rabbit was still testing, and like it was like me, Guess and I, Rabbit, and then like one of my bots, and we were powering crappy as 4 controllers, and we still could not keep this man powered running that rotation. But it did good damage for a single target and for 3 targets.
That was the video that broke that server.
Yeah, working as intended, right?
Yeah, crappy in his famous black bar videos.
I just had to do that to troll people. Some people got really butthurt. I was like, yo, I'm just trolling. Calm down, people.
Got our bots nerfed, got our booster clips nerfed.
Oh my god, I didn't get the bots nerfed. Jesus Christ.
got our beach balls nerfed.
No, big gun too. Somehow I worked the big gun nerf in there.
All right, so what's the name of it? So whatever, that rotation was doing good damage, but was draining way too much power at the time. So they ended up reducing the power cost of claw or whatever, and I think like some of the multi inputs. Not the multi inputs. I'm thinking celestial. They ended up reducing yeah, the taps afterward. They ended up reducing the damage of that. After that, the damage was nerfed so much from that power cost decrease to where it was doing damn near the same damage as what the range combo was doing. And so I probably spent 4 or 5 hours playing with hard light melee, trying to find something until I said fuck it, and I tried an old rotation from my friend. Shout out to Shaz from Bossmons from like a video of like him hard light DPSing from like fucking 2 years ago back in Nexus, where he was spamming lightweight for fucking fun. And so I went through and I went up to the sparring target and I did the lightweight or whatever and the spin part of it. And the spin part of it for melee is actually like really, really good damage. And like I think it should still be decent even after they nerf it. The spin actually does really, really good damage, and you can throw it, which scales off of the weaponization stat that you get from might and precision, and you can clip that throw with ram whip. So originally you could go through, hit chompers, and then you can do ram whip, clip it with lightweight, let it roll out for a second, throw it, clip it with ram whip, and keep going back and forth between those two. You could actually put up like really, really good numbers. But then they doing that at the end.
Well, and when the rifle grenades were monsters too, if you double tapped on the throw, you poop out a grenade. It was basically, it was not unlike the true Phantom Triangle, which like. Okay, so Phantom Triangle now, like, people are like, oh, if you just clip, tap, that's a Phantom Triangle. It's like, no. Like, Phantom Triangle is like when you were sneaking that shit into, like, a completely different animation. And you could Phantom Triangle out of the throw and get some nice rifle grenade damage in there. Like, it was fun. Like, don't get me wrong, it was fun, but I was like, there's no way I could get, my tanks would kick me. Like, there's just no way I could hit them with fucking lightweight, 400 times in a raid. It's still cool with them.
That was so, Omar's fault. I mean, I was right.
I was kind of working too, like, because that number got posted up when Fatal was asking for parses. He's like, "What's it doing at range? And what's it doing at mid or melee?" And the lightweight rotation got put up for like the official melee damage, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like big caveat here. Like, nobody should be doing
big apostrophe here.
You're like, your tank will fucking kick you right out of the raid if you do that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, or even worse than Nexus, you'd summon lightweight, then the Mento would just use telekinesis on the lightweight.
Yep.
I was working on this idea, what if lightweight wasn't an object anymore and it was just a power? Then you'd actually be able to do that.
Well, that's what they did with lightweight
strike. You mean lightweight strike?
Yeah. But like, if you could have used it to melee like you were, spinning it around, but it wasn't an object, so it didn't.
Yeah. Like back in the day with hard light, you would summon lightweight, pick it up, and just throw it. So if you were a tank,
I used to throw it down the hallway at gates just to fuck with people in my group.
What? So you wanted to be like Meteor from like Fire or something?
Just just make it a regular ability, not an object.
Yeah. So like,
wish anything.
So it summons in your hand. You don't have to pick it up and throw it.
Okay.
Just like Meteor.
Yeah. Like, and you'd still be able to spin around.
Like, it would actually be kind of cool or whatever if you could go through and like I know, like, I'm sitting there stretching on mechanics of what they could do, but like, imagine if I hit like, say, like lightweight strike or something, whatever. Say we had that one lightweight move and it spawned it in the air, like what it does for like time bomb. Whenever you use time bomb, it starts it up in the air, and then whenever I hit a target with the hard light combo, that lightweight will instantly go toward it or whatever. So kind of like how telekinesis will end up throwing the object. I could use my hard light constructs to control where the lightweight ended up being thrown at.
Yeah, you summon lightweight in the air and then use grasping hand to throw it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, you could like, and like if you like angled it right or whatever, you could go through and you could control it, so therefore it ends up hitting multiple ads.
I just wish, like, what you guys call Final Claw, I call it Hold Claw, but I wish that now that the hard light combo constructs aren't blockable anymore, I wish it was like the old one, where you could just instantly clip it before even the animation came out.
I was a little jealous of you on PC because I couldn't do that on PlayStation. I was like, this motherfucker over here, I gotta see my claw a little bit, but this guy's just clipping it clean. What a bastard.
Alright, and then the next power is completely on the opposite fucking spectrum of fucking viable.
Bring back the whirling dervish clips.
Oh, that was so fun.
See, beach ball, that's harmful, but the whirling dervish clips, that wasn't harmful. Yeah, it was cheese, but like, that was fun.
Beach ball was the most game breaking shit ever.
Guys, mental.
I blame you guys for
my
that. Mental was perfectly fine before you guys went and got Terra Tendrils nerfed.
Listen, I don't think it was perfectly fine.
It was working though.
We were testing loadouts because I think you guys have heard the story. But for the folks listening, so Krabby and I are testing loadouts. I'm doing play from the tray on one set of sparring targets. And Krabby's doing the hybrid stuff on the other. And we'd had the hardest damn time trying to figure out like a good rotation for mental. And so we're both working with different stuff. And we started out super, super complicated. Where I'm like, yo, you set this PI and then you switch it with this, and then you set up this dot, and then you go back and forth, up and down, and at 8 seconds you do that. Like, it was ridiculous. And we started taking stuff out because we're like, that's too complicated. Take this out and then take this out. And we got down to where we were like, shit, what if we just fucking like spam Terra Tendrils over and over again? And we got to where it was Terra Tendrils clip with Menace over and over and over again. And we were doing like goddamn like melee damage at full range with the tendrils, and we're like, okay, so it's clearly has to get turned in. But so because of that, we broke mental. It's our fault.
And
I was really trying to.
Mental had nothing else going for it.
What was it doing? What caused it to do that damage? And how much damage was it doing compared to other powers from mental?
Listen, if you took Terra Tendrils outside and had somebody stand by the ads, you could bounce Terra Tendrils off your buddy, off the ads, off your buddy, off the ads. It was just doing the craziest shit ever.
But like, it wasn't like that broken because you're still stuck in the animation the whole time, and that's a pretty long animation.
I know, planted to the floor.
It doesn't apply the PI right away, so it's not like it was that broken. Like it's still.
I was just saying for the general guidelines that they're going by, it was a PI applicator. It also had a 0.5 second cooldown, which a PI applicator usually has a 3-second cooldown, is a 200 power cost.
That's another damage penalty I actually forgot to bring up or whatever. If something inflicts a PI, that's another damage penalty, which I think is stupid as well.
Me too. But now it does the same damage as every other PI applicator. It still has a little bit of good going for it because it doesn't split damage. And it has a shorter cooldown. But it's doing on-par damage with other PI applicators now, so it's not like shitty, but it's not overly good like it was. Because, I mean, it was so good, it was doing more damage than the power it applied the PI for.
Yeah, like it was doing more damage than what Mass Terror and what Telekinetic
Mass Terror 300 power cost, 3-second cooldown.
Mass Terror's still doing, like, crap damage.
Yeah, Mass Terror needs to get the CC taken out.
Does more damage. I was just like, you have to remove the CC from what's the name from Mass Terror to get it to probably do close to the same damage as what Telekinetic Bolt does. I don't know what the animation time difference is.
They're roughly the same. TK Bolt's slightly longer, but like fractions of a second. But still, like TK Bolt does significantly more damage because it has no CC associated with it. And Mass Terror needs to get that taken off. I was trying to fight for some dots. Like it needs some 12-second range dots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like all of them are like 6 to 8 seconds, I think, or whatever. They're
Phantom Flames used to be a dot. Well, not Revamp, but like old style, like mental. Like Phantom Flames was a dot. Thought Bubble's a dot.
Yeah, like I'd like to see some of that come back. And now I think that it's on live, and they're not so concerned with. I mean, they still got to work through a lot of other bugs, but I think we could get some help to Gadgets and Mental. I mean, Gadgets is great, mid-range, melee, but from range, not so awesome. But Mental's in a spot.
What's the name of it? Does it actually have any like good like range DLTs? I mean, like for like mid to close range, you have Cryofield. Do you have that for range at all?
No.
Like this,
you foam. That's about it. But you're stuck in that animation.
Yeah.
Like how far DLC? I mean, like, you can clip it with a power dump if you wanted to. Like what's the name of it? I'm actually happy that they did that. You can go through. You can still clip. Like I think you can clip. What is it? Fear gas, and you can clip crossbow with a dump or whatever. Even though it runs through more power, you can technically get rid of it. But like, how long is the DLT?
6 seconds.
Fuck. It doesn't have any. So it doesn't.
Fear gas is like a 6-second dot too. So like you're constantly just applying dots and not doing a lot of burst damage. Like I was doing weird rotations trying to keep the dots up, but like. You literally do a burst power, and then you have to go back and put your fear gas up. Then you have to go back and put your cryo foam up. Like it just plays so shitty having 6-second dots. because of that.
Now those mines are really, really good though. I do like the mines for gadgets, bro. 100 power cards. Those mines do fucking amazing damage.
Yeah,
oh,
suppressor turret's nice damage too, but you got to keep summoning it.
Wait. Oh. Well,
yeah, if you're in between
shit,
the ads and stuff.
I shouldn't I'm not sure if I should bring this up on like since I'm recording now. I'm not sure if I should bring this up. But did they ever fix that one thing that we found for gadgets and mental? Did they ever fix that? I don't remember reading any notes on it. Or can you still do that online?
Oh, with the I know what you're talking about. No, I had my buddy doing it the other day.
Did they ever fix that?
That worked better in troll stands though, didn't it?
Yeah, I had my buddy doing it the other day.
But you could do like dominance and might mod. So if you wanted to, you could cheese it and do like dominance and might mods as a DPS as long as you could still get somewhat close. But I was like, did they ever go through and actually change that though, or could you like cheese that inside of like say JFA?
I thought Penryn mentioned it.
Like he posted it, but I don't think they. What's the name of it? It was somebody else that commented on like how much damage it did, but I'm not for sure if they actually went through and actually changed it. I don't remember reading any notes saying that they changed the damage of like what that interaction did.
He was doing it in troll roll, my buddy, and he wasn't getting anything super awesome with it.
What's the name of it? Did he do it on 8 targets though?
Yeah, he was doing it on the 8 targets, and he wasn't getting nowhere near what we were getting. But he was troll roll, and he wasn't doing anything in between it. He was just doing that, and then waiting, and then doing it again.
Okay, so and what's the name of it? So that's
it still probably works. They just toned it down, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he still sees a bunch of numbers flying off of it, but I guess it just doesn't do the damage that it did. I'd have to check it myself. Is test server up? Can we do that?
Yeah, it's still up. Whatever. We still have all the other characters and whatnot. We still have our stuff.
We're gonna try that and see what's up. That was pretty fucking funny.
And then what's the name of it? Next one is well, the last one is Gadgets DPS, which technically we kind of already started talking about a little bit.
EMP hits like a fucking truck.
And then they had to lower it to a 2.5 second cooldown because they didn't want to fix the damn animation.
It's still slightly messed up. Like it still doesn't cool down within the time period of a 3-second cooldown power. Because like if you could do a solar flame power or solar flame 300 power cost power, solar flame and another 300, but you can't do a solar flame EMP, solar flame something else, and then come back to EMP. It's still not cooled down. You gotta let your solar flame hang a little bit. And the problem is the animation, like the cooldown time on the EMP, actually hangs up while you're doing it. Like as soon as you cast the power, it doesn't stop cooling down. The cooldown on it actually hangs up. And that's what they need to fix. Like they tried to just adjust the cooldown time to compensate for that instead of just actually fixing the cooldown of it. Which I don't know why they even fucking did that. Just fix the cooldown on it. It'd be good. Instead of having it hang up, just fix it.
And then Fear Gas went from what's the name of it? Fear Gas went from hell and back or whatever. Fear Gas is tolerable, but it's not what we want it to be still. It's not how it used to be.
Gadgets has been so fucked up. There's just been so many versions of gadgets and like.
And then what's the name of it on Penryn? Like I'm tempted to go through and take that video or whatever from Penryn of Napalm missing like 4 or 5 fucking times straight. Like I mean,
well, the problem is like gadgets.
Or whatever, because I think somebody posted it or whatever for feedback or whatever. Like I literally saw somebody post like within like the last like 24 hours. I think in the forums that Napalm is still missing somehow.
You gotta stand still like a statue.
Yeah, like the only power since beta that has not sucked has been gadgets, and like they complete. It was the whole reason it was good because everything was all burst. Like everything had short or instant cooldowns. Yeah. The only long cooldowns was like intimidation, and now they're trying to like change all that around with this revamp, and it just got like lost in translation.
I went in at the beginning of the revamp and tried to white knight for gadgets, and I was like, listen, what happened to Gosphere Foam? I was like, that's kind of the background-ish of gadgets, like those 3 PIs.
When revamp came out, everyone's like, okay, we'll go back to like the cryofield clip with intimidation, maybe stasis field is for a dot, and then we'll go back into like, you know, fear gas, gauss grenade kind of stuff.
Oh, Crappy, what did you think of the first version? Like, I hated the first version of Cryofield or whatever before they turned it back.
Oh my god, that was terrible. So like, I hated the first version of everything with gadgets, then the second, and the third, and the 8th.
Well, I mean, like, technically, we can't. What's the name? We can't bash like the first 3 or 4 versions of the gadgets because at that point it wasn't functioning. Penryn hadn't done like over his fucking 30 pages of fucking bug reports by that time.
Yeah, I used to love when they'd put a new update up and 45 minutes later, Penryn would just have like 10 fucking videos of this is broke, this is broke, this is broke, this is broke, this is broke. I was just like, oh my god.
It was amazing, man. Like, I mean,
It was.
He was on top of that stuff.
Gadgets that just made so awkward as a power set. Even for troll, like it's kind of still awkward.
Like,
I was
a
just
couple
like,
people kind of just chased me out of gadgets.
Casement as a supercharge, but it's the only thing else for fucking gadgets or whatever you could even put the supercharged generator on. I can't even think of another power I want as a supercharged generator besides stasis field right now for gadgets.
You could do P-Dart, but that would probably affect the DPS side.
Well, I mean, it's a what's the name of it? It's a 300 power cost though, if I remember right. A 300 for a supercharged generator would be kind of a
no. They'd have to nerf P-Dart, but that would be an okay power, like just the stun aspect of it.
But then isn't that
that's like your only range 300 though?
Yeah, I was like, that's like your max range DPS.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. They can't do that because it would affect P-Dart too much.
I couldn't think of like strangely enough, like literally gadgets was the only power that I couldn't think of that actually had like a wasted power that wasn't used as some type of range besides stasis field.
No, stasis field was always that useless power. It's just like, okay, well I need a dot. Okay, we'll just run stasis field. Like the only other power you could do was foam, but because foam wasn't used that often. But then foam became popular with AM.
I just was trying to go in there and go ham at the beginning and be like, yo, like, this is stupid, like, just put it back to how it was, and let's work with it, kind of like I did with nature and electricity when they started doing all kind of crazy shit. I was like, hey, can we just put it back to normal and then work with it from there?
Well, that was the issue that I knew we were going to run into with Revamp, because there's like maybe 2 or 3 devs that are left from the beginning, so the new devs don't even know what the powers were like before GU36 and in the past. They only know Weapon Mastery AM, and they know that didn't work. So they're coming up with all these like new crazy ideas. Oh, this should work out, but like A, most of them don't even play the game, and B, they don't know what the game used to be like. So it's like, how can you have that opinion?
And then like, I don't want to call some of the players noobs or whatever, but like, some of the players who, I don't know, maybe they just don't have as good a grasp on some of the game as others do. We're like,
I was going to say one issue between us and other testers was just the fact that we had power, which is an issue that people have on Lab now as well.
Yeah, like if you polled the entire community and asked them 2 questions, I would bet A, most of the controllers would still say, yeah, mod Vit's the most important stat for controller, and B, they would probably still say that dominance equals aggro.
Yeah, somebody still ended up making that.
And like, everybody got on me in the gadgets thread right at the beginning when I was like, yo, can we just put gadgets back to how it was and kind of just work with it? I was like, because this is a mess and I don't foresee any of these changes being positive. And like, where's gadgets at now? It's still in a shittier place. Like, it's not terrible, but
I was just like, it's barely viable.
It's not awesome. Like, it could have been so much better if it was just left normal.
There's like, no baseline for gadgets. It's not like, okay, run this loadout and then mix in a couple powers here and there depending on the situation. It's like, okay, question mark, what the hell do we run as gadgets? Like, try like 50 different rotations.
And I just didn't have the strength to just go in there and like battle through all the retards and like fight for the other powers I was trying to get straightened out at the same time.
Like, I would have fought for gadgets because I like gadgets, but it had too many bugs in order for me to actually figure out anything. I was waiting for Penryn to finish doing bug reports, but he never actually finished, and then come to find out the dark quit, so I was like, well, I'm fucking alone. I was like, well, let me go to the other
expected we were going to have some time to go back and then nitpick on mental and gadgets, you know, because, I mean, it takes a lot to do what we were doing, and it's a lot to test everything over and over, and then they make a change again, and then you're testing everything over again, and, like, it takes a long time to do that. You got to run content. You got to stand at the dummies.
I still don't know where. I don't know at what point in conversation somewhere like all the troll power sets got shit on for like damage. Like why it's like, okay, let's make all the healers and tanks really strong, and let's make the controllers.
It's the fucking crowd control, bro. It's the crowd control. That's it.
Yeah, man, the crowd control is just killing
troll
it.
Power sets were king for the past since beta. It was always like gadgets, mental, hard light, quantum when it came out as AM.
If you look too, though, the troll power sets for the most part don't have the same kind of dots that you can get with like, especially the healer power sets.
Yeah, and none of the troll power sets have good melee.
What's the name of it? Quantum is the only one that has like a 12-second DOT, isn't it?
Yeah, gravity.
And that really hurts powers, man. Not having a 12-second dot. is really
I was like, at
hurting
least Hard
powers.
Light has clippable burst, so that's an excuse. Munitions has channels, so technically it's completely different. Mental doesn't have anything, which is why it's shitty. And Gadgets is kind of a mix. Gadgets
But even
is kind
like
of
in the
confused.
past,
Just
the
like
troll
how
power
you
sets
had
all
the-
had like, besides munitions, like all the troll power sets had good melee, and now like all the melee's gone. Like yeah, you can mess around with like chainsaw and lightweight and stuff from light,
Gadget's
but, like,
melee is fucking beast, though.
well, that's
Gadgets
like Gauss
just, like,
grenade
you-
spam or something.
Like Gadgets just slam.
No, not even Gauss grenade spam. P-Dart and fucking EMP, man. Cryo field turret. Well, I guess if you're using weapons, I don't know, like, if you're doing some play from the tray stuff, I guess you're going to spam some Gauss grenade. Sticky is also good in some situations because Sticky Bomb never splits on its intended target. So the person you hit with Sticky Bomb never splits damage, but the targets around it, they split damage. So Sticky Bomb's definitely good in some cases. Get a little bit of cheese damage out of it.
Yeah, like JFA, so you hit Detragon with the sticky bomb, but the ads take split damage, but Detragon doesn't.
So at least you're still getting full damage on your intended target, so you can burn him quicker.
That's good, man.
I'm wondering too if as we're having a conversation about balance going forward, if it's worth every controller power set having 7 debuffs that they can go to. Right? They've got 2 of each, plus the supercharged generators are debuffs too. And I mean, if stuff's getting nerfed for Moonlight,
In terms of wait, hold on a second. Whenever you say debuffs, do you? Oh wait, hold on, no. Wait, the supercharged. Wait, yeah, the supercharged generator is included inside of like the supercharged generator is included inside of the 6 or whatever. I was getting confused for a second. I was like, for a second, I thought you were talking about damage penalties, but then
Yeah, so you're saying that what trolls should only have 1 power that's a debuff, and then all the others don't have, like, you don't have 2 options you can pick from. It's just like a set. This is the debuff power. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about like the troll DPSs are struggling, and we're trying to come up with reasons why, like one of them's no dots, and probably the other one is CC, and like everything is a debuff. Like, I mean, if you go through and you look at like the stuff that you're like, yeah, I would like to use that in DPS stance. You're like, well, shit, it's also a debuff. It's one of my 2 healing debuffs.
Yeah.
It's one of
no,
my
that could work because really, throughout the history of trolls, there really hasn't been too much choice between the debuffs. It's like you would never use Singularity as a debuff. You would always use Anomaly. You would never use Time Bomb as a debuff in the past. You'd always use like Time Shift. Like there's
one of them has always been shitty.
Yeah, like
you
I
never
don't
use
get the point.
Yeah, you never use
having
Napalm
to.
as a heal debuff. Like you always use like a foam instead or P-Dart, stuff like that.
Yeah, because what's the name of it? Didn't Foam have a... Wait, doesn't Foam have a further range than Napalm? I forgot. What was the reason? Was it more damage or was it more range? I can't remember.
It was probably the CC effect.
True.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Because you can root stuff with it.
Alright, so we covered all the DPSs. Any closing notes before we move on to tanks?
I don't know. I'll say something. I thought we were going to have some more time with the revamp. And I don't know, did I say this? And I thought we were going to have time to go back and spruce up Gadgets and Mental.
Yeah. Well, you saw their argument though.
1 week notice. They gave us a 1 week notice. Mep said that there isn't a what's the name of it? There isn't a date that we have planned for it to go to live. 1 week later, yeah, this is going to live.
Yeah, 1 week later.
Well, that's.
I mean, maybe we could give them the benefit of the doubt.
No,
and,
but you
wasn't
saw
in
the
loop,
response though.
maybe.
They said, we said you needed like more than 2 weeks. They said, well, we've been working on this for a year. That's like, yeah, but like it hasn't been in a good state for a year.
But it's been slow as hell, and we've had constant breaks inside of it.
So the devs think they've been working on Revamp, and it's taken like a whole year, and now it's ready. But like all the players, like, nope, it's only been really good for like 2 weeks.
Right, and we just recently started having good communication and getting the devs to come around.
Yeah, like you can't count like the first 6 months of Revamp because like everything was like trash and they had no idea.
Yeah,
what
I
they were
mean, like
doing.
freaking controlling didn't even get changes until recently. I mean, like hell, controlling was ass and was like a freaking huge like there were several threads that got made and /closed/deleted revolving around controlling, people getting banned, shit like that. And then like they went through whenever they wanted to buff the weapon only playstyle. they ended up adding. I think it was originally like a 10% precision buff. They upped it to like a 20, and they increased the power dump cost from a 200 power cost to a 300, which shitted on controller's power management.
Yeah, like they just changed that super. They just gave the extra regen. They just gave the extra regen to superpower focus. What, like 2 weeks ago? Like if that.
Yeah,
that changed everything, and now like, oh no, Revamp's ready.
And so did shifting around the weapon mastery damage. Before the weapon mastery, like when they shifted some damage from regular combos to weapon mastery combos, a lot of the powers were, I'm not saying the powers have more of a gap now, but a lot of the powers were a lot closer together when the weapon damage was better, because it kind of shielded like some of the inconsistencies with the powers. Just like Earth and Ice are basically the same exact power, but Wintry Tempest has like a 100 damage less per second
crappy
than like Inferno. And now you see those discrepancies a little bit more, that the weapon damage isn't balancing that stuff out. Like the stuff was just so much better when the weapons were a little bit better, and then they shifted that damage around and it kind of messed things up a little bit.
As a side note, to all of my Earth users, I was a temporary Earth user. I always liked Earth. I just never played it that much. But just so you know, Debris Field at one point in time on the revamp, Debris Field had like quadruple ticks from whenever instead of inflicting the PI, it used to benefit from it, and it used to basically have quadruple ticks whenever you had the PI up, and it was fucking beautiful. But they took it away because one guy complained on the forums and said it was OP. So yeah. If you wanted to see,
they listened to one
it existed at one point in time, and that was
that was like Debris Field when it came out with Earth. Like if you had the dazing PI active, or no, was it not dazing? I think it was crushing. Yeah, if the crushing PI was active with Debris Field, you got an extra tick of might on every tick of Debris Field.
You know, now Earth from max range is a little. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's just not as good as I would like it to be from max range, because Debris Field is kind of garbage now.
And Upheaval got to shit, so Upheaval isn't there.
Upheaval needs a little bit of a buff. Or I guess you could go, since Jackhammer is really good now, I guess I would go with a buff to Upheaval instead of Debris Field, because then Debris Field on top of Jackhammer would be a little bit too much. So Upheaval got a little bit of a buff. That would be nice, because I'd like to see all the powers be very close max range, and a lot of them are real close max range, but Earth is one of the ones that's a little bit on the lower side for max range. You just don't have as many tools as some of the other powers.
Alright, so moving on to tanks, Obsidian. Funny enough, the first one on the list I have is Fire, so that's yours.
Well, it's just like, it's more so like the PvP community, but like a lot of people were kind of shocked by the change to tanks with 100% shield absorption. And while I could see that's a direction to take, like I don't necessarily have like glaring issues with it, but it needs obviously some tweaks. But I think that's good from the point of view where, like say you're doing USR before the shield change. Like the flamethrower would like tear through Ice's shields like nothing. Like you'd have to get out of it. But now you have 100% absorption. You've got the ability to stand in that flamethrower. Not that you should be standing it, but you have the ability to, just in case you wanted to. With Fire,
you got stuck.
Yeah, the other reason they wanted to change tanks completely was that they didn't want people to turtle tank anymore. They didn't want just like shift tanking, like just hold, or not shift tanking, but whatever it is for R1 tanking.
Turtle tank. We'll just call it turtle tank.
So they changed Fire, and now we got something called Fire Soul. So if you're not blocking, a 30% increase, and health is 50%. It's not like before where you got the health buff for your powers. Like Dom is now useless for Fire, which is kind of weird too. I think they should have left that in there, because now it's just awkward to spec Fire tank. You need to go health really instead of all the other tanks being Dom health. And then if the ads are burning, then you get a 50% increase, and now pretty much every tank in the game should be running Fortified Assault instead of Fortified Blocking. And that was the nice change. Fortified Assault added 10% defense to not blocking users. So really, like Fire tanks has better survivability. It's more fun to play, but you're still stuck with that exact same cookie cutter loadout. Like you can't be a battle tank like Atomic. There's no option. You're still running the exact same power, so you're just doing weapon damage. And while that's somewhat fun, it's still like somewhat limiting at the same point.
I mean, like, you can use downward smash in the middle of a flamethrower now.
Yeah. Also note to anyone listening, Burning Determination is not a shield. I've heard many people say that already. It's not a shield just because it looks like it.
Yeah, they just gave it the animation, but it's not actually a shield.
It is a heal over time. Like, it's really easy to see. Just like pop it, and then if you take like one tick of damage, the damage is there. It's not a shield.
Yeah, that's pretty misleading.
But really, fire has, like, the engulf changes were absolutely necessary because now that we've got something we can spam with that'll set a burning for the fire soul effect. But really, you're still stuck using engulf, backdraft, burning determination, stoke flames is now your best heal. Backdraft's an amazing heal. Internal flame got nerfed. Immolation, you have to take that because that's a shield. So really, you've got like one power you can sub out, and if you don't need a breakout and burnout, then you can sub in like a damage power.
How was the Stoke Flames buff? Was that like noticeable?
A little bit. Like if I wasn't hitting it off cooldown, then I could kind of see me taking more damage.
Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering how that was going to.
It's more noticeable that the nerf to Burning Determination's heals are more noticeable than the buff to Stoke Flames.
I got Stoke Flames nerf, but buff for tank side. You guys should be happy.
Because Burning Determination, that was usually my main 2 heal for fire tanks, just because it was a breakout as well. And Stoke Flames was my like, oh shit, I'm going to take a bunch of damage. I should have popped both, like an SM. But now I'm using Stoke Flames as my main heal, and Burning Determination is like my backup one.
Yeah, for anybody that didn't know, originally Stoke Flames was like a full-on like 12-second DOT, just like Inferno and Overheat was. Like literally, you would just hit Overheat and then you would clip. What's the name of it? I mean, you would hit Inferno and then clip Overheat with Stoke Flames to basically have 3 DOTs in 2 seconds. That was like full strength.
It had better dots than Electricity and Nature at one time. I was just like, yo, like, come on now. I can't clip 2 of my dots together like this.
Yeah, but fire should be like that. That was old fire though. Like Inferno used to be an amazing dot. Like fire just was like dots for days.
Oh yeah, I don't mind Inferno and Overheat being good dots, but
the Stoke
Flames is just a tad too good.
Yeah. But the same thing with the number one dumb thing for fire was A, Burning Determination should be breakout, and B, it should set up burning because that's just stupid, and C, it shouldn't have a shield animation. So
Fire's a super good power. I'm really surprised there's not more people fire on live server.
I think people are struggling to find fire DPS loadouts because
I mean, fire has a lot of options too.
Like some of them might be lost in Flame Cascade got nerfed to hell. Yeah. They may not know what to do.
Like it's the same thing. I want to be a tank power set. Rage and melee, like Rage and Earth are like through the roof, like not broken, but through the roof, like amazing DPS. Why would I go fire kind of thing?
Probably, yeah.
If I want to heal back and be a god in PvP, then Atomic and Ice are still better than fire in PvP.
Like when I look at a power set, though, I don't look at a power set like, I'm going to kill all these ads. I look at a power set from when I'm doing hard content and I'm going to be standing all the way in the back. What's going to be doing me good DPS? Fire?
Yeah, people don't think like that. They think of the now, like what's going to be the best damage now, and then they'll just buy a token.
By no means does fire do shitty damage from mid-range or melee. Fire actually does awesome melee damage. But it's just everybody's spec full might, and nobody's really experimented with like precision builds.
Well, they need the might for the power aspect, though.
God, true.
Especially fire, like you got all those heavy. You have to spec a lot of power with fire because you got all those heavy dots. Like, you can mess around with prec, but unless you're running like 2 trolls, because like the most of the meta that I found with raids is still 1 troll.
I like 2 trolls. Like preferably myself, I don't need 2 trolls, but like a lot of the other powers do to get the max performance out of them. I don't think it's a game breaker. And what's the penalty too?
Trolling.
So how many DPS does it take till you put in a raid when you get that nerf?
What?
Wait, what nerf? Wait, what?
The roll is buff nerf shit. You know how you pack too many DPS in a group or you don't have the right amount of rolls, you get that nerf?
That works in raids? I thought it was just alerts.
Does it only work in? Does it not work in raids?
I don't think so.
If you pack 5 DPS,
you might get the tank passive buff in raids if you were on a tank, but you're gonna die anyway. That's not enough.
I thought if you packed 5 DPS in a raid, you still got that nerf.
Wait, Jose, I thought raids didn't have any buffs. Wait, what the fuck are we talking about? Have I just been lost for like the last 8 months?
I could be wrong, but I think you get that nerf if you put 5 DPS
Are you talking about what we were doing inside of like the
sparring target room? Yeah.
The 5-on-1 meta has been around for years, though. We would have seen that by now. I think the rollless buffs are really just in alerts.
Okay.
And the raids, you wouldn't notice anything because you can't just hold block and wait for your heals to come back without a healer. Like, you need a healer, you need a troll, you need a tank. You can't do that.
I'm gonna have to check tonight. I
think
I remember them saying something about encouraging more balanced groups, and that's why that shit was there. I'll have to check. We'll have to put 5 DPS.
Encouraging more balanced groups was like forcing you to run 2 tanks in content. Like you have Dark Star War Factor. You pretty much can't solo tank that. You could, but the group is like suffers mainly from it because you have to separate the losses.
Hey, Crappy. Have you tried that? Have you tried that healing overtime loadout inside of Dark Side yet?
Yo, that would actually be awesome because everybody's always taking so much damage that you would just soak up all that damage.
Yeah, but you need a lot of burst, though.
The jump cancel bloom, though. That's what I want to find out.
Yeah, the bloom jump cancel is no joke, man. That shit's awesome.
Yeah, I know, but if you keep having to do that shit like every 2-3 seconds...
Oh, well, you can only do it every 15 seconds or something like that, whatever it is. But I still have... Man, when you clip Savage Growth and Metabolism together, then they only have 3-second cooldowns. Fucking fill people right up. Real quick.
Still on topic of DPS, because we didn't really bring it up. I think we really should have had access to the tactical mods on Revamp, like all the critical head and supercharge mods.
Yeah, I think that would have made.
Because A, we would have found out that they're not working, or at least the supercharged ones, and B, I think like some of the supercharged heads now, like the 5%, like really isn't enough. Like especially when you think of a supercharge like Earthquake. Yeah, it's super good, but like it takes forever to regen.
Oh, it's not like a 50% supercharge mod gives you roughly 525 supercharge out of
compared to like a 10,000. That's like a 20th of your supercharge generation.
Like supercharge mods are kind of useless right now. Like I run a crit mod just because the supercharge mods give you with a 50% supercharge. Instead of giving you those numbers, it gives you roughly an 1/8 of a supercharge back.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like trollers are always earning their supercharges so quickly because we can easily run that supercharge generator. There's a lot of powers that can't easily run that power. So, like, I realized Revamp in the beginning was like, you know, the supercharged world of DC where like superchargers were coming out like every like 20 seconds.
Fucking heaven.
But I think the head mods for supercharged should have been buffed a little bit because I think that would help speed up content a bit too.
Yeah, they should be like they were on live, where they give you like a quarter of the supercharge.
Yeah, you saw the bar like move.
Yeah, like an 1/8 of a supercharge that's such little supercharge, and to make your supercharge mods work right now in your head, if you have one on, what you have to do is when you switch to that armory, you have to take your head off and put it back on for the mod to work. If you change to another DPS armory, and that even though you have the same head on, you still have to take that head off and put your head back on for the supercharged mod to work. Same thing when you log in and out. You log in for the day, you gotta take your head off, put it back on for your supercharged mod to work right now. They're working on that, but just in case
the supercharged head mods, they should be stronger because when you think of like the crit head mods, they changed all of them into weapon buffs. So if you're doing play from the trade, that's a useless power. That's just a clip power. Before it used to give you that critical ability chance like Bloodlust and stuff, so it was worth it to run. Even as a might DPS, but now it's a useless power. It's just a clip, so it's not. I can see people not wanting to run it.
Yeah, it's only good with some powers too. And some powers, you use too much power to just clip that in just for a 2% buff.
Yeah.
And then the next one we have Earth Tank. Did anybody here have Earth Tank or?
I didn't because aftershock tanking was nerfed for so long in Revamp. It used like brick or nothing, and I just don't like brick tanking. So I think aftershocks have been brought up a bit more in line besides brick tanking. So I think you can still run either or. I'm not sure about in like end game content, but.
And then Crappy already touched on brick tanking earlier, so I'm thinking we can.
Aftershock tanking isn't bad. It's probably what you would use in elite content. I would say we're gonna run some more stuff with our Earth guy and see if brick gets shit on or not in elite stuff, but I mean in regular stuff we haven't really had a problem with them. And I mean I don't want to like go out on a limb and be like, oh, brick tanking, our tank is a god, but he's a fucking beast with brick out. It's crazy. Like don't have to heal, they just hang out. And it's very simple too. for other people, but you have to use it right. You have to use Totem. You have to use Fortified Golem. Like,
yeah, you gotta heal it.
I guess people are going in there and they're not using the correct stuff, and they're not using Totem.
Yeah,
They're just
you
using
have to go like
Fortified.
if you're using brick, you have to go like max brick. You have to go like everything
Yeah.
that's gonna heal them, everything that's gonna help them, kind of thing. Which was like the original brick tanking loadout. Which
So
is
you
why
have
I
to
don't
base
like
your loadout around helping brick.
Because that's
And I
what
think
that's
where people might be
I think
having
that's
the problem.
3 slots for that because you got to run both 2 and brick. It's either 3 or 4.
So you're taking 3 spots up.
And then you can only run Epicenter or Earth and Grip, and you have to run Unstoppable for the shield. You can't run Hardlight Shield really.
I don't know, like Aftershock tank, it seems really good though. He seems like a normal tank.
Yeah, especially now that
With
Jackhammer
Aftershock?
can't be interrupted.
Yeah. Definitely from a healer perspective though, watching his life, brick tanking right now in regular stuff is far superior, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I used to love Aftershocks because like back in Paradox, like Earth Tank was the only tank that could tank the Ravager's 3rd swipe. Every other tank had a huge heal. Like Fire couldn't do it, Ice couldn't do it, they couldn't do it with the shields, he would just rip through it. But like Earth could with Aftershocks. That's why I liked the original brick tanking, or not brick, the original Earth tanking with Aftershocks. And it's kind of changed a lot since then.
So we'll see once we do some elite, because he did the elite stuff we've done now. He's always done the Aftershock tank, and so we'll run some elite and see if brick survives.
All right, and then going into Atomic Tank,
Atomic Tank was fine. It's just they took so much of the CC away from it that the whole point of Atomic was that you just rotate your combos. Now they can't be interrupted, so you have to worry about that. But it was more like you can't juggle people to death like you could in Darkside War Factory as Atomic Tank. So and that's where Atomic Tank gets a bit. Yeah, that's where it suffers now because like I think they added the pullback to Ad Splitter, but they didn't really add any other CC. So it's like you can't juggle the ad, so like you're gonna take some net damage from that. But other than that, Atomic Tanking really didn't change much.
No, and then like I don't even know what to say in terms of people that have like they're gonna end up having power problems as Atomic. I mean, like you used to be able to go tank stances out of like solos and duels and not have a power problem. If you're not expecting power at all, you may have a problem at Atomic tanking inside of content now.
Yeah, and it's still the same way. Like it's still aura tanking. Like the non-aura tanking still isn't as good as Atomic.
Yeah, I was just like I always wanted like technically like I wanted the what's the name of it? I always wanted the Oracle. The hell is Mighty doing?
It's probably pouring himself some cereal.
I'm muted. I was up. It's dinner time, so I was up checking my stuff. Sorry about that. I was not muted. My bad.
Okay, but what's the name of it? Like I always wanted like the percentage heals from Atomic in order to actually be untapped, like to be uncapped, so therefore you could actually use your weapon. You weren't forced in order to do the combos. So like therefore you could use like weapon stuns or something. That'd be like more fun for me. Like use like the one-handed 3-tap if anything, clip it with a shield, shit like that.
Yeah, it's like you can battle tank as Atomic, but you're still stuck doing those combos. It's not like true battle tanking. You're still just spamming combos. It's just that the combos do more damage.
And then we have Ice Tank, which has always been a god.
Yeah, the Ice Tanks are gods. They just stand around in their inventory.
Yeah, the new shield meta really changed Ice around a lot. And Bitter Winds is not a shield anymore. It's kind of like the Forgotten Power. I think Ice does suffer a bit for not having that second breakup, but it's not as much as other power sets. But Ice was just like, it's the easy man tank. Like you can't screw it up.
Even though you have less shields now, I mean, they last almost a full duration most of the time.
The only thing I don't know what Ice Elemental does in tank stance anymore. I don't know if that's worth it. Like I know we used to run that in Foss SM a couple times, but I didn't test it. I don't know what it does in tank stance. I don't know if it's godly anymore.
Somebody used it in one of our raids. I want to say
Charm was using it.
Charm was Ice one day, and she busted it out.
And there was a glitch with it too, because I think she got killed. This is like before the tanks got buffed. And she got killed while she was in Ice Elemental, and then like couldn't res or something like that.
Yeah, like before it was like near impossible to die in it because you got all the buff stats, you got self healing. The only issue was that when you de-transformed out of Ice Elemental, for that half second, you had no defense, so you had to always pop a shield and then get out of it early, because that's what got people killed.
Mm-hmm.
And Resonating Gale they changed to some like awkward pole. It's weird.
You know, it's actually pretty cool.
Like it's fun just to try it, but it's like not really viable. But it's funny because like you'd never think Resonating Gale should be a pole.
Well, when everything is on top of you, it works really well. I wouldn't like use it to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool too. Like if you hit Resonating Gale like on some ads in front of you as you're getting there, it sucks them all in, and then you can just
I think they
lunge
did
right
that because
them.
Ice was the only power like tanking that didn't have like doesn't have Without Mercy, it doesn't have like Epicenter, it doesn't have Backdraft, like it had no like that's why I was Ice tank back in the day. It was Flight. I'd use low pressure. Like it didn't have any like mid range suck everything in power. It just had Inescapable Storm.
From what I've seen, it works out really cool. Like when our guy was getting to the ads, like he would just use it, and then it would smash all the ads together, and then he would just jump into them. Or if they were already around him, you know, it'll group them up really tighter. And with the smaller AoEs that everything has, it's really nice to have a pull like that sucks everything in, just so then you make sure you're hitting everything. I'm a fan of that one. I like it.
And then we have Rage Tank, which was technically changed a little bit.
Yeah, Rage Tanking, the same thing. That is like is the exact same as Fire. Like instead of the health increase being 50%, it's only 20%, and then you get now it's based on your combo meter. So you got to keep your combo meter up, and then what was the max? I forget. I think it was like
I want to say it was 100% of your dominance, if I remember right.
The max is 100% dom. I just forget like once you reach that combo meter is the max. I just forget what the
the combo meter. What's the name of the combo meter? It didn't say inside the description, so I have no idea what the max.
I forget what I think it's like 30 something.
30. But God damn.
But I think but the same thing. Like Rage tanking, it's the same thing. Like you can do either combo spam, you can do like weapon spam as long as you keep your combo meter up. But other than that, Rage tanking really didn't change. It's the exact same powers. You just don't run Ferocity. You still run Ragebringer. You still run Without Mercy. You still run Severe Punishment. You still run. For me, since Rage's melee is a bit power heavy, the head mod I run is Outrage, Energized Outrage, so I get the 3% power back in tank stance because there's no tank supercharge to run.
Oh yeah, I've been selling a whole bunch of those.
And then I use Outrage as my cancel. I know people like E-Chain, but for me, I like E-Chain and Outrage as cancels. But other than that, like your Rage tanking loadout really doesn't change from what it was before.
All right. And then we have, what's the name of it, going into the healers. Crappy already pretty much said a whole bunch about nature. Elec healing. Crappy, do you have any comments? I think you have Elec healing.
Best healer.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that were Celestial, they switched to Elec for healing. I've seen a lot of nice feedback.
Because it's been like the best burst heal or whatever on test since it came out.
You have to play Electric different, though, than you play a lot of other powers. Now that there's no one-shots, it's a lot easier to play Electric. Electric has a lot of burst, but you're lacking on your hots. Yeah. So, like, if you're playing Electric and somebody takes a little bit of damage and they have, like, a quarter of life off them, and you're trying to always spam everybody back to full health, you're going to have cooldown issues, and you're going to waste a lot of power. And, like, you're better off just to burst people with your single target heal if they're just missing a little bit of life and save up your big bursts for when you actually need them. Like, I usually don't use a big group heal, like an 8-man heal, unless people are, like, halfway. But other than that, I'll just use, like, a 4-man Arc Lightning, single target, and you heal people just fine. You're very power friendly.
Plus, you've got that OP Biocap back mod for the reduced cooldown.
Yep.
It's just
like Electric is just so great. It's nice and power friendly because your 8-man heals have long cooldowns. It's not super spammy. The heals are actually strong. Like when we were running 2 healers, our Celestial healer and Electric, the Electric guy out-healed the Celestial guy even though he doesn't have any hots, just because of the sheer strength of the burst that Electric has. Like, Electric is fucking really good healer-wise. Celestial is still super good.
It didn't really change anything.
It's just the power cost. It's just the power cost with Celestial. That's the issue.
It's just the power costs are crazy. So if you're somebody who's, like, trying to run 3 hots with Celestial now, like, you're going to dry yourself out real fast. Like, I've never run 3 hots with Celestial with all the combos. I just Admonish Blight, Consume Soul, that's it. And I've never had a problem. Like, that's what I use in
Well, the problem is so many Celestial healers are used to, like, the clip-heavy playstyle where they're just spamming everything off cooldown.
Yeah, like you might not be able to keep your HOTS up 24/7 now. You know,
you
or
did not
both
meet
of them.
many
Maybe
power
just,
conservative celestial healers in the past. That's for sure, especially in SM.
you might just want to hit a consume soul once in a while. You don't want to admonish blight all the time because you're using a bunch of power. You know, so it changed up the celestial meta big time of how people play because of the power cost.
Yeah. That's why if you look at like some of old Odyssey's videos, if you look at Mitchell's nature healing, like he's only hitting a power like if it's like you absolutely need to heal. Other than that, he's not even touching his bar.
I used to heal the shit out of everybody just using Savage Growth because Savage Growth cost such little power, and it did 5 ticks of very strong burst heals, like pretty strong burst heals. So you could just tap Savage Growth after every weapon combo, and pretty much keep people filled up. Like if they were taking consistent damage instead of being so power hungry and hitting Blossom and clearing your pheromones. And
yeah, it's not like the old really you gotta spam Blossom and metabolism clip.
Now you can't do that though. You try to spam Savage Growth metabolism shit. I mean, they have 3-second cooldowns, and the power you go through is insane. Like that's why I was trying to yesterday when I was healing not use Roar, because Roar is basically Blossom now, where it clears your pheromones but puts out a big group heal. But the power cost that it just takes to put your HOTS back out is insane.
It's like damn near your entire bar if you're not power spec.
Half my power bar goes for Savage Growth and Metabolism. And then if you want to stack Flourish on there for your third hop, I mean, that's getting into it, man. You ain't going to have no power. Get ready to drink a soda after that. Like, that's just insane. So I was trying to find an alternative where I was just using Bloom, you know, just as a big group burst. And, I mean, that works really fucking well. And you don't have to clear any of your shit.
And then the last healer power is Sork. And with Sork,
Sork had no friends in the revamp. No one liked Sork, so Sork had no feedback.
No, I mean, like, Sork had a little bit of feedback. It's just that Moja didn't like how the people from Sork played Sork. Like, everybody wanted to use the range. Like the majority of the feedback that I saw was mostly realist. It was originally Sork, like Sork's pet or whatever. What is it, Watcher or whatever? It didn't get power. What's the name of it? In order to power, you actually had to use Offering or whatever. You didn't Ritualistic Word didn't give power to Watcher until like the very, very end of revamp testing, which was like a minor victory for some people. Even though whenever they ended up finally giving Ritualistic Word power to the Watcher, they removed the passive aura, I think, on Watcher or whatever, like the passive healing aura that it did. And they had range issues, which I'm assuming is in regard to either some of the moves in terms of maybe not being max range, and then obviously Circle, people walking out of it and no longer getting healing over time. It was actually funny because I remember Perfection ended up responding to Moja, if I remember right, because Moja ended up posting his Sorcery Healer loadout, and it was funny because Moja was like, "Oh, I solo healed this with this amount of stats and this content, blah blah blah," and it's just like his loadout literally used nothing that had the range issues that people had problems with. It's like he wasn't even using the powers that people had issues with. He was using everything else. Yeah, and then whenever he went through and broke down like what powers people were supposed to be using, he was like, "Oh, well, you have these 3 moves here, and then you have this ability, and then you end up picking like 2 out of 3 of these moves, and then like out of the 3 options, it was like Boon Souls, and then like Offering and the pet, and it was just like Boon Souls is supposed to be like one of your automatic healer moves. So like his formula for how you should have created a loadout for Sork was messed up to a lot of people.
I think what we should have had was that one of these times where the devs ran those raids. Like, remember when they said they ran Grundy and they couldn't beat it, so they nerfed it? Like, they should have live streamed one of those runs so we could actually see the devs playing.
Or taking one of us in there, like somebody from our little group.
They've done, specs that they've done. I want to actually see shit. I was just like, I didn't even get a response whenever I ended up asking. Like his Mojo basically broke down his entire spec for Sorcery Healing, and I was just like, hey, since we throwing out specs, can I have an idea for what your controls are running? No fucking response. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because they said every map test we ran, they had duplicated internally. So it's like, okay, well, why don't you just show us once? Like, so we can see.
And the map tests we were running, you gotta remember.
The race throughout the entire day. I was just like, is it really that hard to stream on a PC or something?
A lot of those tests we did too were only 7-mans.
Yeah, and I was just like, "What's the name of it?" Because they did. What's the name of it? Because they were supposed to redo all of the all of the testing that we did internally, and then like I remember there was one time where Melps was like, "Oh, they were running through like all of the lower content, like in order to go through and test stuff themselves." I was just like, "How do they do so much damn internal testing but never show footage of anything?"
Yeah.
I was just like that. Like always irritated me. And I
would have liked them to take an outside person into the content with them, so they could get that feedback.
Well, I mean, like I know 2 people that might have been inside of there, but we ain't saying no names.
Yeah. One of the persons in there, I'm sure, starts with a T and doesn't do shit anyway. So.
No! What's the name of it? Whatever. That makes 3 or whatever. I had 2 other people in mind. Never mind. That makes 3.
But the reason I'm sure they couldn't be Grundy is they probably weren't even trying to body block Grundy. They were just letting him jump all over and like wake up all the ads. Like they're probably just not even mechanically playing Grundy right.
And the thing with the ads,
that's what we were doing, but that was because we were testing stress.
We did that on purpose, though. You guys didn't want me to body block him because we wanted to wake up the ads and stress the healers.
Yeah.
And you know why the ads were fucking you up when you rezzed them? I mean,
because we didn't have
one fucking
no
immunity too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That blade dancer starts to pull everybody in.
On live, I don't think I've died to a blade dancer yet. I didn't even know what it was until it was killing us in Revamp. I was like, what the hell is this? What's pulling us in?
That's what I was wondering. I was like,
because everybody got immunity.
Kill potential like that.
I was like, the only ad that hits hard in live is like the Fire Striker because he teleports in the fire beam. Like, what's this blade dancer doing?
Yeah, and I was just like, literally, like, even whenever he teleported with the fire, I remember one time I was just like I was debating whether or not I wanted to leave feedback and say that like some of the D-aggro should have been like increased to a 200 power cost, like what is it, like Grandeur and Distract, because like one of those fire guys would teleport to me. And I would hit Distract, and he would kill me through Distract. And I was just like, what is the purpose of Distract? This shield's no damage. Yeah. I was like, is this only because it's a 100? I'm like, what the hell?
The same thing. Or you hit it, you break out, and then he pulls you after your breakout. Like, there's no, like, 4-second immunity.
I was just like, actually, speaking of that or whatever, freaking controllers are the, what's the name of it? I'm the last ones left. That's what's the name of it? That's what's the name of it? That's me and Chill. Shit. Well, first 2 are technically your powers or whatever. The first ones are whatever. It's munitions control. So I guess you can talk about that.
Well, really, controlling it stayed pretty much the same. It's just that new meta where you got to spam your supercharge generator, and the main differences between the power sets. Some of those supercharge generators are a lot more powerful. Like Quantum's is really powerful. Mentals is really powerful. Munitions is just like a stupid knockdown that's a damage debuff. It's kind of useless. Gadgets is like, okay, it's stasis, but it's still in case, so it's kind of annoying. But that's really what separates the control power sets. But other than that, like, I like the changes now. Like before, when Revamp first started, like we couldn't even do supercharge generator. It was like we had to do solar flame twice just to regen. And now they certainly fixed that, where like I can. Now it's almost too easy. Like if I'm doing, even if I'm solo trolling, I can easily have 3 debuffs up the entire time. Like I don't have an issue. Just doing solar frames.
Well, I mean that's what our spec or whatever. That's what a proper spec. That's
that's true.
Want us to spec.
Yeah, that's if you have a brain and you figure out like power is important, not specking like 10,000 vit, which is kind of pointless.
Yeah, all the vit in the world ain't saving you nowadays.
Yeah. No, that was the first thing I tested. I was like, okay, I'll try pure vit and see what it does. We did that run against you, and I was like, oh my god, I hit like 2 powers and I'm out of power. Like, what the hell's going on?
Like, well, you had to hit. Like,
yeah, I changed before the first boss.
That first run.
Yeah, I was doing that for like 30 seconds, and I was like, oh my god, this isn't gonna work at all.
Because I was like, I think like ever since the start of the revamp, like I think even at the end after they went through and changed the progression curve, which was supposed to help with power cost a little bit, I still couldn't go through and do more than 30 seconds of just solar flame powered up. And I was like, if I can't even do my power dump for a minute with my soda, then there's no way in the hell I'm going to have my supercharged generator and I'm going to have my debuffs without sacrificing extreme power out.
Yeah. The only thing I wish they could do, I wish the criticals on power out, like the power crits, were a bit higher.
I want crits inside of the socket bonuses, to be honest. I really don't like the
because I think that's really impacting, especially solo trolling, because it's like you reach a point where even if you're trying to power someone on the sparring targets, which I'm sure we haven't brought that up, but I'm not giving power back there. But like I can't physically power someone, even with like the most vit, most power ever. I can't power them quick enough because they're half bar by the time my second recharge is up. And that's I think that has a lot to do with crits.
What's the name of it? We tried that whenever I was doing math for Charm or whatever for like Celestial. It was like even with full fight, even if somehow I was able to constantly dump off of max, like even if I was able to dump off a cooldown every like 1.5 seconds with max fight in the game, I still could not power her rotation. She will run dry in like 30 seconds with what she's doing, just keeping her healing over time.
Like maybe that could be adjusted in the skill point tree because like the troller crits are only 30 compared to DPS, which are 60.
Or whatever, with having the extra magnitude or whatever, would that actually end up changing anything? I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. I was like, I still want the single target power dump. Like I wanted them to go through and make a single target power dump that would be like twice as strong, so therefore I could basically like triple dump somebody if I was clipping, like, which will be really, really fucking useful.
Yeah, you do the same thing. You do your group heal, then you do a single target heal.
Like, it'd be really, really useful.
Yeah.
But it's just like instead, it's like, oh, we're just going to increase power out by 20%. It's like, okay, helped out a little bit. It doesn't really help healers because of how extreme they were. It doesn't really help me with my own power management, but okay.
No. The controllers, even at the beginning of Revamp, they're like, yeah, we want battle tanks, we want battle controllers. Like I remember, was it Al or Fatal doing a couple Quantum videos where they were battle troll, but like battle trolling does not work for shit.
That was Quantum, and that was what's the name of it? He was Quantum inside of him. He was Quantum using Time Bomb inside of Olympus. He did another one. I think it's like Munitions with Rifle. I think
it's like battle trolling does not exist. Battle trolling is trash. Like you might be able to find some rotations somewhere, but like it is pointless. Like you can battle tank now.
You can do it, but like you're not going to be able to give power while you're doing it, like what you used to be able to do.
No, like battle trolling got completely lost in translation, and now controllers are still batteries. Basically, we can just use superchargers more often.
And whatever. And I might want to say it might be easier if power dumps were still 200s, like what they used to be. Them upping it to a 300 in order to make up for that damn precision buff ended up really hurting out controller power management.
But it's really like you just have some control power sets that are better for CC. That's pretty much all that separates it now. That you can't really spam chronos as a DPS or a tank anymore because they don't they're not as effective.
Yeah, and then what's the name of it? What were the issues that you had? What's the name of the issues that you had with munitions or whatever that you might want to bring up? I mean, like technically I think Mighty already made the thread for the official feedback.
Yeah, like I think for most of us it was just like swapping some debuffs on certain powers because like mental like munitions is really like now I've got the power so it wasn't too much of an issue, but like our supercharge drainer is there's no CC. So I have to spam the laser net launcher to have any sort of CC, and laser net launcher they changed it. It's not a heart stun anymore. It's like a half stun. Like I don't really know any heart stuns anymore. Like P-Dart used to be a heart stun. You know, anomaly, distortion wave, multi net launcher were all heart stuns, but now it's like so much soft stuns now. But yeah, like all the controller power sets are pretty balanced. It's just some have better debuffs than other.
Yeah, and then what's the name of it? In the power cost of those debuffs, it's fucking noticeable depending on what content you're running.
Yeah.
Like, because munitions, what is it? Munitions, Quantum, and Hard Light have mostly like 200 power cost debuffs, while Mental and Gadgets are sitting at 100, which is one of the reasons why I'm Mental on live server. Despite the people inside of 5v5 chat talking shit or whatever about, oh, Curl's Mental. It's like, nigga, I'm fucking Mental for PvE though. Yeah. Like, Mental and Gadgets have the lowest power cost for trolling, and literally Gadgets has an encasement. So I don't like the Gadgets encasement just because of how many issues I ran into it with live. I mean, on test server, I tried Gadgets trolling on test. I kept switching between Gadgets and Mental. I just don't like that encasement, so I'm gonna go Mental.
No, size Mental gives out the best power anyway because of the reduced the cooldown on Perfect Visage, because that's your generator.
Yeah, and then what's the name of it? They fucking changed Battle Drone to where it's not even, what's the name of it? It's no longer a 35. It's a 50% supercharge, and it's a group shield now, but because Battle Drone does damage, the power out of the Battle Drone gets nerfed or whatever. Like the Mental supercharge should technically be giving out more power than what the Gadgets one does.
Yeah.
So it's just like I have my healing debuff or whatever on a 6-second cooldown, and I have my defense debuff on a 1.5 second cooldown, whatever, and it's only a 100 power cost, and it's a stun.
But overall, controllers themselves didn't really change. It's just how you spec them. Like now, before you could get away with specking all of it, like a lot of people did that. Now you can't. You have to spec power. Power is everything.
Yeah, I was like, there is absolutely no way that a straight fight controller will ever solo troll. No. I can solo troll pretty comfortably as whatever with my spec online, but there's no way in hell you'd be able to do it as might. It'd be impossible. You'd be horrible.
No, if you see some troller specking all of it, that means that controller has obviously no idea about his power set.
Yeah, you don't have any power to give like that.
I'm curious, where did you guys land on the chess mod for controllers?
What's the name of it?
Power efficiency.
No, it's what's the name of it? Power efficiency or whatever. Power efficiency is better.
A lot of people still running core.
If you're clipping your debuffs and everything or whatever, like if you're maximizing your controlling, power efficiency is better than what reserve tank is, and reserve tank was like right there with what's the name of it? Extended supercharge. Whenever we were looking at like the trade-off value,
a lot of people you'll still see run reserve tank just because they don't know about power efficiency because it was from the Amazon tactical mods, or was it from Amazon? I can't remember. One of the time capsules, and you never ran it. It was just like a useless chess mod, so no one really knows about that. So I can see why they're not running it, but it is better.
Yeah, because I mean, like, there really wasn't a point to it because you had the weapon mastery bonus or whatever that reduced power cost, but now you don't need it.
No, before it's just because reserve tank got nerfed so much. It's not as necessary.
That's the one thing that actually kind of pissed me off. Is like I was wondering why reserve tank got nerfed down to like 5% extra power. Meanwhile, my foot socket is still 6%. I was like, you gonna nerf one, but leave the other one.
No, I think I'm more upset over the elite procs because we didn't have renown, so we couldn't really test the elite procs. But like 1% for A, 1% for B, and even the elite 8 elite proc for troll, like it's kind of like hit and miss. Like it's like, man, they really like there literally is no point to get elite gear anymore. Like. It is like it's not worth a feat. It's just a title now in raids. Like just skip elite gear.
And it takes twice as much in order to actually get elite gear compared to Amazon Fury 3.
Like you get an extra 2% might having 4 elite pieces. Well, it's a bit easier because depending on how many OP pieces you have, like it's a bit easier.
And it's just like how many replay badges did you spend on that 2%?
Yeah. Well, the replay badge is not really the issue. It's the money. Like all 3 OP items could set you back like 300, 400, 500 mil.
Yeah. Oh, touching on the reserve tank, that's a really good mod for healers, though, for your chest. I mean, instead of superchargers, kind of blah. Like,
yeah. I think the bigger issue is that I'm still testing myself, but I don't know exactly about core strength versus pen strikes yet.
Yeah, Mighty was trying to do. So what's name? If you were trying to test that earlier, he didn't find a significant difference.
I don't think there's a concrete answer to that yet.
I was getting weird results, man. Like, so the test that I was trying to replicate the Shiny Manacle test, where he's like basically. You take 2 data points at different CRs. So you go hit something that's say like 100 CR versus something that's 170 CR, and you can test like the damage mitigation of penetrating strikes, or the reduced damage mitigation I should say that you get from penny strikes versus the buff that you get for core strength. And I did it a couple of different times, and I got like. On one, I would get core strength would be better, and then I would do it again, and penetrating strikes would be better. And I don't know, like if it was crits were playing a role, or if it was like the variability, like the windows, the damage windows, were throwing me off. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's just like I was probably gonna go through and do that because like I had some of the I had some of the other numbers or whatever. Assuming they didn't go through and change tabs, I already have some of the windows for the stats or whatever for the tabs, so I already know what the window is. So I could probably go through and see if it was a window error to see if that was it.
Yeah.
It's like because that actually kind of irritated me because like that was another thing for controllers that I hated was the fact that they made POT and they made dumps being a range instead of a solid number because it's a lot harder in order to actually tell whenever you. Like, say, for example, if like you gain 15 Vite on live, you obviously see your POT go up by 1, but
it's ridiculous.
Whenever you have RNG on your POT, you're not really going to actually
I was trying to test that in PvP to figure out my spec, and I was like, okay, I'll put another 10 of Vit and we'll see. And then, like, I was having more Vit. I was having a bigger pot with 10 less Vit than I would from 10 more. It's like, how the hell do I figure this out?
Mm-hmm.
You have to go through, like, whenever I was doing it or whatever, trying to figure out, like, if it was still 15 Vite for, like, what's the name of it, for, like, roughly, like, a 1 POT increase, I had to go through and get, like, 20, 25 ticks or whatever in order to go through and try to get, like, a relative range where I was falling in. Like, it's just, like, it's just pretty much, like, unnecessary work. Like, I just wish it was a fixed number. Like,
it's like
I hate RNG damage windows.
You spec an extra 20 Vit, and then, like, you have less of a pot number. It's like, what?
But there's that. Let's see what else is there to talk about for controllers. There's the what's the name of there's technically the what's the name of the discrepancy for all of the powers, I'm pretty sure, whatever, in regards to like which white mods are actually useful since certain powers got changed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for example, like mental has the accelerated what's the name of it? Horrific Visage. I was able, I was able to get cheap as hell my stuff and extra one sitting inside of my bank, but there's not like an accelerated What's
No,
the name
there's
of
nothing
it?
else.
There's not an accelerated stasis field. There's not an accelerated lightweight strike.
No,
so
you're
it's
pretty
just
much
like, okay.
you're pretty much then stuck running like an accelerated shield. That's really all you can do.
Yeah.
Energized Light Blast, I think, would be one that you could run, like if you're a hard light troll, trying to get some utility out of it.
Yeah, I was just like,
Yeah, I still like running the supercharged
I was not
head
gonna
mods,
fuck
even
over
just a
light
little
troll
bit.
until what's the name of it? Unless they change the power cost, I was not gonna fuck with it. If I at least get 100 cost defense debuff, then I'll fuck with hard light troll. Until then, I'm saying it's mental.
And I see a lot of trolls, or even a lot of players in general. They just, if they weren't following Revamp all day long, they don't know about those each power having a supercharged generator. So they're like, hey, what's this kind of thing?
Yeah, and it's just
because I see a lot of trolls. They're not using supercharges as much as they should be because they're not spamming their generator.
And in raids, man, we got superchargers going 24/7. It's crazy.
Yeah, you gotta keep that shit on cooldown, man.
Yeah, they're just not used to that meta because it wasn't really explained.
Yeah, now chill. I have a question or whatever because I noticed it on live and I noticed it on test. Like with the supercharged generator, whenever I was actually using Solar Flame, I was actually able to get like roughly speaking, like say for example, if I had like max supercharge and I used my supercharge, roughly speaking, by the time I supercharged, actually it came off a cooldown, I was damn near full again.
Yep.
Like I was like, do you think that that's good or bad? Because I was like, for me, I actually like.
Well, I think it's fine for troll.
Like I wish I could use it faster.
Yeah, there's no other power sets that can use it as fast as trolls can, so I don't really think it's not an issue then.
Yeah, but it's just like one of those things where like sometimes like especially if I'm like solo trolling and it's just like if I have a DPS or a healer that's low, it's just like I feel pressured to use that supercharge to get them back up because I'm just like, oh, whenever it comes off a cooldown, I'll be maxed out and I'm not really losing anything. Like I sort of kind of get like that feeling that I got with battle. What's the name of it with the old battle drone being a 35? It's just like, oh, I can just sort of kind of waste it, so to speak. But it's just like that something ends up happening and I need that group shit and I'm like, damn, this cooldown is hella long and it's not back up yet.
Yeah, same thing. Not being able to spam supercharges is kind of an issue, like having that minute cooldown or whatever. But usually, like if I use the supercharges more as like a shield. If I see like a bunch of ads come out, I know the DPS are going to be melee. Like say on Vandal Savage fight, I know they're going to jump in those stupid depleter fields and expect me to power them through it. So I save supercharges for that. Or if I see a bunch of DPS drop supply drops, it's like, okay, they're going to be maxing their loadout, so drop a supercharge. But I wish the cooldowns were a bit long or shorter, but I know that might impact DPSs too. So
yeah, so I was like, supercharge generators were an issue, and then power cost was an issue because like Mighty, you had what's the name of it? You had did like a slightly like different test than what I did in terms of like how what's the name of it? How like the 200 and 300 like power cost moves compared to the 100s would end up actually playing like over time.
Yeah, actually, so I got to credit my league mate Quantum Heavens who was on, and I was trying to like explain the new troll meta to him as best as I could, because it was all secondhand from y'all. But I was telling him about like the different power costs on the defense debuff and how that was affecting power efficiency for trolls, and how gadgets was good, and he's quantum, and quantum is not as good with the efficiency, and so he actually went through and tested it. And he's like, "Yo, I'm getting like I can go like a minute 30 with gadgets before I need a soda, and I can only do it for like 45 seconds with quantum." And so then I went back and like replicated the test for him and was like, shit, yeah, you can go like if you push the power spec a little bit, because he only had like 200 skill points on test. I was like, if you push the power spec a little bit, you can get it up to like $150 for gadgets and like 50 seconds or so for quantum. Like you can essentially just about double your power efficiency just on that debuff cost alone.
And then I feel fucking bad for fucking what's the name of it for hard light controllers to spill whatever specifically just because you have a damage debuff as your supercharged generator. It's like as mental and gadgets, I look up and I have the two most common ones.
No, that's the same thing with munitions. I have to hit two.
You end up having to have a healing and a defense debuff. You're fucked from using 3 debuffs by default. You have no choice. And they're all 200s too.
But I find myself using sodas a lot less. Like I know that's because I have like a ridiculously crazy power pool, but like it was, I think it's a lot of it because the multi-net launcher is 100 power cost. So yeah, I have to spam a second debuff, but at least it's a low power cost one as munitions.
I was just like, that's the one thing that I liked about the power spec originally or whatever on test server was like you go inside of like the first what's the name of it? You go through and you group the ads inside of like the hallway inside of USR or whatever at the beginning. Freaking I could go through and I could clip a defense debuff, or I could go through and clip psychic shock or Gauss grenade with like it just debuff every single ad inside of that hallway without even having to take a soda.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. Like my playstyle now, like I clip like everything with the recharge. Like there's not a point where I don't clip, but obviously that's just because of power spec.
Yeah, that's the reason why like, I wanted to know that's the reason why I wanted to know what what type of spec they ran inside of like their internal test for controlling, because like I want to know how much they clip, how much do they use their supercharged generator. It's just like what is their standard for like the minimum performance of the controller?
Sure they didn't. My guess would be like they did like weapon mastery combo or something, then like debuff, weapon mastery combo, then recharge. Like they're not clipping it off cooldown.
Yeah, because I was like, if you use them one by one or whatever, because it's like if you use them one by one, yeah, I was like, yeah, the power management isn't that bad. The problem is just that your power out becomes ass at that point. Yeah. Like you would literally get doubled if you weren't dumping off a cooldown. If you were using like a medium length combo and then dumping, I would damn near double you on the scorecard.
There was that comment that Meps made after we did like the first round of Meps.
Hello, everybody just went quiet. What the fuck?
Can you hear me?
We're still
I can hear you now. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, Obsidian went quiet. Mighty's making some movement. What the hell?
So there was that comment that Meps made after we did the first round of Meps test. Like we went into Nexus and then we did Grundy and USR, and he was like, yeah, you know, you don't clip like a lot, or this like you should like this for like clip heavy play styles. So I definitely do think that like the way that we were clipping recharges, basically clipping everything with a recharge, was not necessarily the meta that they were.
No, I don't think so at all. I think our meta's certainly separate.
Yeah, because I was like, we were clipping or whatever off a dump.
If anything, I think
like,
they're
like for the most part pretty much a necessity. With like compared to like the DPS testing that we did.
I think their meta is closer to Mr. T's, and we know what his is like. So. Because we all saw Mr. T's. We saw Mr. T's revamp video.
Let's see. Let's see. What else can we talk about? What's the name of it? Weapons only. Oh, what's the name of it? I had mentioned at the beginning, or whatever, that I had tested weapons. Like I reported a few bugs for like some of the weapon masteries doing less damage. Either doing the same or less damage when they were supposed to be doing more. As a side note, if your weapon is underperforming, whether that is dual pistols or any other weapon, just know that like when Crappy and Mighty were going through and doing charts and all of the data showing all of the parses for all of the for all of the power sets, I literally went through and posted inside of the feedback. I broke down the the damage from every single tap. Like most people probably don't even know this, but the damage windows on the tabs leading up to combos are actually different. Like each tap has like its own damage window that'll be slightly different from the other one based off of the animation length, which I'm assuming is slightly different. Like I went through and did that for every single tap and every single combo. I went through and marked the damage window, so therefore you could go through and look at them individually. And I went through and did the combos in addition to that, weapon masteries in addition to that, and parsed each of them or whatever with maximum stats, so therefore they could compare it to power sets. So if your weapon playstyle is not like adequate, just know that they didn't go through and take my testing and actually do with it what they were supposed to do. That is not my fault. I went through and tested weapons for probably over 60 hours total.
Or at least dual pistol full auto isn't best anymore. Imagine dual pistol full auto.
Man, that was terrible.
We're like ridiculously.
Imagine everyone was stuck doing full auto between combos.
Solar flavor. I mean, pulse beam was beast too.
Yeah, pulse beam was hella high. Last time I did that, especially pulse beam was like the highest for single target or whatever for for hand blasters, like at least for weapons only.
I couldn't even believe that was a thing.
Like I still remember whenever you remember whenever I sent you that video on Kick of whenever I did. Mom, I'm recording a video. Like what is it? Oh, sorry. What's the name of it? I remember whenever I sent you a video on Kick, and like whenever I did flip slash, and then I did the hand blasters. What's the name of it? I did hand blasters, like not the weapon mastery combo, but just like the basic hand blasters, and every tick of a regular hand blaster's pulse beam ticked for the same damage as the actual flip slash hit. That's how broken pulse beam was. I was like, that was bad. It was literally like doing back-to-back flip slashes. Pulse beam was like broken at one point in time.
Well, they kept
last
changing weapons so often. Like weapons got like what 4 or 5 different passes over the revamp length.
Yeah, because they kept screwing it over.
Yeah, that was super annoying.
Get it right.
That was just like when they changed all the loot tables where stuff dropped. Like, it's just like, okay, we finally figured out where everything drops and finally figured out weapon combos. Now like, oh, we'll change everything.
There was one where Crappy had like it was a Thursday or something, and Crappy had just done like maybe 12 hours of weapons testing with powers, and then they dropped an update that changed
all the weapons or whatever.
Yeah, I was so mad.
That had happened to me like the previous level. That had happened to me like one of the other times. Like I had like probably like 12, 15 hours of like what's the name of it, like weapons testing done. And then as soon as I'm ready to go through and publish my results, oh, we're gonna go through and change all the weapons. I'm like, I was just like a little part of me just like broke on the inside because I was just like, you have any idea how annoying it is to sit at a sparring target and sit here and like do taps and combos and parses. Like, I mean, like just sitting there and doing the taps alone takes, I want to say, anywhere between like maybe 5 to 6 hours just to go through and just get the damage windows on everything. Like how can I put this? Like acute and like tuned, so to speak. So therefore, I can actually tell if there's a 10% damage increase for whenever I do weapon mastery or something. And then to go through and do a minute parse on all of the possible combos for each weapon is freaking ridiculous, and it's boring as hell. And then just to go through and do that, and then just the next day they're just gonna go through and change all of the weapons or whatever, or they'll go through and just be like, oh, well, we changed some of the weapons, but they won't actually tell you what they changed specifically. So now I got to go back through and retest everything.
Yeah, it was a nightmare, man. That night after and I was doing, I was being real sciencey, doing all the powers, using the website and shit, graphs and charts type of stuff, min-maxing specs to see, what I could do the best with each thing. And then they changed it all up the next day, and I was just I was ready to jump out my fucking window. Are you kidding me right now? I was like, man, there goes a whole fucking 2 days, sleepless days, up to 5, 6 in the morning for no reason too. I don't get paid for it or anything, just out of the goodness of my heart, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I guess Nev still didn't say anything about us getting anything from
rewards or
testing.
whatever. Yeah.
Testing rewards.
There were supposed to be rewards or whatever for what's the name of it, for the testers that were able to stick around with us or whatever. Well, I'll probably stick around with them. I know Penryn should get something at least for all the bugs.
Yeah,
it would be unplayable right now.
Yeah, you guys get some fireworks that everyone already has over the 5 years.
That was just like Catch-22. Meps doesn't give rewards to anybody that got a warning or a ban during the time period of stats revamp.
Oh, I mean, nature's in a good place. You could say that's my reward in a way, but we did put a ton of work in there, and I'm not out here begging for anything, but I'm just saying a lot of people, not just us, have put crazy fucking amounts of time into something that they don't get anything out of.
Yeah, well, it's just even though you put in all that work, the only thing that people see are the negatives, like what you guys didn't get accomplish.
Oh yeah,
right. Kiro and I, we're getting blamed for all the PvP and people being, all the testers being shit at PvP. It's well, I know we haven't brought this up yet, but we tried. It's they openly stated that this revamp is not with PvP in mind. We'll make some minor changes just so things aren't totally retarded. They changed all the damage values and stuff, and the shield's down from 12 to 6 seconds. But it's they did not have PvP in mind whatsoever.
Make major changes because I was like, what's the name of it? Whatever. Since you brought up what I was going to talk about PvP for a second. Silver had covered supercharges and some of the DLT cheese originally. I had covered the DLTs. I had covered a whole bunch of the burst clips. Whenever PvP first came out, you could go through it and I could do a shield one tap and clip it with a 300 power cost move, do a breakout trinket clip from that to cancel that animation, do a one tap again, clip it with another 300 move, and I could damn near full life people as probably 90% of the power sets. I could just full life somebody off of one clip. So can you imagine somebody just walking up to you and you seeing a flash and then you were just full lifed?
Yeah.
That's what PvP was like whenever it first came, or whatever.
That's the beach ball effect.
Like, it was horrible. Like, you could BB somebody and hit fire burst and chunk like 60-70% of their health off of that one counter because of how much damage it does. Like, the power cost scaling for PvE made a drastic change.
Yeah.
Inside of PvP,
same thing, like,
where I think they ended up like doubling toughness like twice just to go through and like reduce the damage.
Yeah, the shielding meta affected PvP, but like you can't change the shielding meta without affecting PvE, which they wouldn't do. The combos not being intractable on like Rage, Atomic, Hardlight, that completely changed the PvP meta, but they can't adjust that because they made that change only for PvE.
Yeah, and I was just like, whatever. I was like, the combos not being interruptible is the problem that we brought up. I went through, and like the first day they only gave us like 2-3 days in order to actually go through and get feedback before they had like, what's the name of it? I think that was before they shut down tests in order to put something else up or whatever. I think that might have been the last DLC or something. But what's the name of it? They only had like 2-3 days in order to test PvP. Oh wait, no, that's what it was. That was the day. That was whenever whenever that bug had happened or whatever, and test server was down for everybody. Me and Silver had signed in order to do testing that night or whatever. They did that, whatever. They had did the update or whatever. They had did the update on a Friday, like what they normally did. Me and Silver hopped on that night in order to do PvP testing and to be able to give our feedback. And I had a long ass reply to Moja, like my stats, my gear, what's the name of it? Like how I have my skill point specs, what to be wary about, like nature DPSs, like DOT stacking and kiting around and avoiding damage. Shield stacking is mental and ice. I specifically went through and pointed that out. Like all of the cheese that everybody's bitching about in PvP right now, I brought up to Moja that first day. Like whenever we went through and did that. But then test server had a bug the next morning, and because Daybreak shuts down for the weekend, they weren't able to fix it until the like that Monday or Tuesday coming up. They went ahead and fixed it to where test server was able to get up again or whatever. Like we had been doing like tweets, like I remember I ended up going to like Warped or whatever because I ended up messaging Warped. I tweeted at Meps. I went to Radar X on Discord. Like we were trying to get in contact with somebody to try to get test server back up so that we could try to do PvP testing and some of the other stuff that they had changed, but we couldn't get anybody in order to do it. So like that, like the first time PvP was actually supposed to be getting tested for changes, technically they ended up having a drawback, but most of the cheese we had addressed. Like Carcass had pointed out that they had lowered the the blue immunity window. That was pointed out. Yeah. They nerfed shields. Some people still
Carcass mentioned the dog healers, the dog form supercharged, but like 2 weeks ago, and that still made it through. They were still seeing dog cheese.
And like I had asked Meps on whatever inside of the other Discord chat. What's the name of it? I had asked him if the developers tested PvP or whatever, and he was like, yeah, or whatever. They'll go inside of PvP whenever it's need be. And I was just like, well, if I told you day one, in order to go through and beware of shield stacking as mental and ice, you would think after they do a shield reduction, they would go back and check and see if that's still possible. It's just like I shouldn't have to go back and nag you repeatedly if I already told you to beware of something. Like I mean, like I already have enough fights and enough like warnings and stuff like that trying to fight for PvE.
No, I think that the reason why PvP is where it is because there's no devs that can play PvP. Like there's no devs that are good at PvP. They don't play their own game. Like that's where that side of the game suffers from. PvE, it's pretty straightforward. Like if you know the concept, you can kind of play it. PvP is not. It's a totally different play style.
For PvP, you have to know the cheese. You have to know the things that people have abused over the years in order to know what to look for.
Like you're not going to find a dev that's going to try to bait you out and like for BBs and counters and stuff like that, or play turtle. Like they have no idea of that kind of concept.
You're not gonna. What's the name of it? During AMA or whatever. You're not gonna have a developer fucking hit you with a double flame cascade for 60% of your life.
Yeah, like even when like layer battles first came out, like Tunzo was like their dev. Like Tunzo would crush all the devs in PvP. Like he was their god, and like I mollywopped him on Layer Devil. So it's like really, it's like this. The DC has always suffered from the devs or even testers or anything with the devs related, that there's no good devs. Like when I see games like Skyforge, the devs are doing live streams. The devs were like whooping players, and like their devs were actually like amazing at their game. And DC's never had that.
I would, I would have loved to see Spittle stream PvP for a day or whatever inside of Backcave arenas and fight people from 5v5 chat, bruh.
Yeah, he did. He just like always before the FNL, Spittle would always stream him doing PvP, and like he'd be like, "Why did I just get knocked down?" Where he's like spamming focus blast, like he had no concept of PvP encounters. Like imagine how good this game would be if like there would be a dev that would log in and be like, "Hey, anyone send scrims," and like you couldn't beat him. Like imagine how sweet that would be, or a dev came in and he's like, "Yo, like let me run some raids with you guys," and he was like the best healer, best DPS.
That's activating God mode and then hitting people with a one shot trigger, or GM Rugged Mob being at phase shifter and spawning 1,000 boosts to kill people.
Yeah. Like that's what I always wanted with DC. I wanted devs to be able to log in and be like, instead of just getting spammed with like hate and like you guys are shit or say I deleted an item, please give me it back. I wanted the devs to actually play with players and be like just as good or better than them.
Because then they can go through and they can relate and they can have the same standards and the same things in mind that we do instead of us having to go through and explain our case. I mean, hell, Mighty, you were there whenever that, what's the name of it? What was it? Was it the World Point 7 that blew up whenever Moja posted that ignorance and then everybody lit up?
Yeah, man, I was part of the 2.5 warning crowd on that where, yeah, I was like, well, it was the, I mean, and all, I guess,
that was some severe miscommunication, some severe misreads.
Yeah. No, like, I like Mojo. He's been really great about talking to us and working stuff out. And, this particular instance was just like an extreme case of miscommunication where we were talking about,
Mojo ends up making that one statement saying that like, oh, we expected people to have no skill points and no mods and just be able to crush content. I was like, I've never even seen one person make an ask for this inside of the entire stats revamp. Like, where did this comment even come from?
It was something along the lines of like being able to like walk in and solo tank or solo troll or solo heal anything, and also to be able to like do good. It was just like basically God mode for a support role. And it was like, man, that's not what we were talking about. Like, we just think the power scaling is a little bit too high, and we could talk about percentages, but just the whole power meta, right?
Yeah, he was talking about healers having infinite power, and I was just like, well, shit, technically, I have damn near infinite power online. If I go power stack as troll, I have almost infinite power. But at the same time, a healer's probably going to have maybe almost twice as much power cost as what I do.
Yeah, it was the same thing when they
they're going to have to spam a lot more than that.
Like back in the past with PvP, like you had when Spittle made all the movement debuffs, and everyone's like, why? No one asked for this. This is stupid. And then they took it away. And then you took away the RPS system. Everyone's like, why did you do that? No one asked for this. And they still brought that back. So it's like, what?
I mean, like, that's just like maps or whatever. Whenever they talked about whatever, what's the name of it? Whenever they removed synthetic mods or whatever, even though some people like them removing synthetic mods, people were just like, where is this feedback? Because, like, I've never seen people complain about synthetic mods like that.
Everyone's like, Spittle's like,
where are these complaints from?
Like we took all the feedback in question. It's like who's talking about this? Like who's asking for these changes? Like no one is. No one wanted movement debuffs. No one wanted a DPS to be able to debuff a healer. Like what?
The thing is, though, they talk to their people behind the scenes and they don't get the whole community's opinion.
Yeah, they talked to Mr. S and Mr. T about PvP.
That would have been the thread that blew up or whatever inside a gameplay discussion or whatever. There was actively a problem with synthetic mods. That'd be inside a gameplay discussion, and that'd be something that would probably stay on like the first page all the time.
It's like whoever you're talking to or like bouncing feedback off are like legitimately the wrong people. Like I know maybe there's been like 2 players that have been legit on the CC Council since its inception. Everything else has been like, you guys are listening to the wrong players. Like Radium was okay. I don't think he had like a huge impact, but like Sor was legit. Everyone else is just like, why the hell are you on this council telling the devs what to do?
I'm not like shitting on the community council, but I'm just saying like, I never see any of those guys post their feedback in the public. They only post their feedback
because they're afraid to, because they're afraid they'll get blamed for stuff. They hide in the shadows.
Yeah. And then they don't, not posting their feedback out in public for nobody else to comment on, kind of makes it like more of like a one-way street too. You know, like why don't you post your feedback out in the open?
That's the reason why I got mad at New whenever he went off at you talking about whatever, like your interaction with other people on the forums. I was just like, at least Crappy has the balls in order to post his feedback in public and actually defend it using reason. Yeah. I was like, if your feedback is like, how can I put this? Like, if you are afraid to take criticism from other people, whether it's good or bad criticism, both are going to happen whenever you post something on the forums. If you're that scared, that means that you're not confident in your feedback.
Yeah,
like that's a lack of self-confidence. If you have a good change in mind and you know that people will like this change, you should have no problem posting this in the public and getting a whole bunch of likes. Like, hell, there have been certain times where I've went through and I've attacked the devs on the forums and I've gotten like 10, 15 likes on my post for like fucking once in a blue moon. I'm not scared to post that out of the public. I don't inbox or whatever a developer. I go through and I put it because they can clearly see I have support for what I'm saying.
Yeah, and plus it speaks to their character because it gives us a backstory of like their kind of like their knowledge base with the game. So it's not like they're just kind of talking out their ass.
Yeah, like post your feedback out there so other people could comment on it. So then like everybody could give their opinion on your opinion.
Yeah, like the only reason why I eat
because I mean, like, I don't want to name any names, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why Ice Tank was fucking broken as hell on test server for the longest period.
Yeah. Obsidian Chill is not afraid about naming names whatsoever. They'll go with anything.
I think too. That's a lot of the issue why sometimes we get changes and we're just like, where the fuck did this come from? like, because nobody on the forums was talking about this. Like, none of us sent any PMs or did anything like that, and like all of a sudden we got these weird fucking changes.
Ended up doing PMs, but I mean, like, hell, it was after we had already said it inside of the public thread several times and wanted to harass them even further to try to actually push it through.
Yeah, like the only person that I knew that was speaking, the only PvPer that I knew was speaking directly with them and kind of had their ear was Clutch, and the Clutch royally fucked PvP, bringing all legends into arenas, at least in my opinion. So like even while he was someone to listen to, like you need someone else to kind of bounce feedback off of.
I think that's kind of the crux of the issue is like it's okay if you pick out like a group of people or a couple of groups of people and you kind of solicit feedback from them. You know,
you can't just take one person's feedback and roll with it. Like you've got to like bounce it off.
Yeah, you gotta take everybody's.
It's about there's like a diversity. I think.
The other reason too, like the whole like. I don't know about the community roundtable. I know the original CC table council. They were afraid to kind of like speak up in their little like groups because A, the benefits of being on the council are so strong, and B, they didn't want to piss off MEPs. They didn't want to like say they didn't want to disagree with the devs because like no, you guys are doing everything right because they wanted to stay on that council. So they weren't being aggressive. Like they wouldn't have been like the Dark or me would have been like, hey, no, that's actually retarded. Like why would you guys do this? It's like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
I was like, even though the Dark was only there for a few months, the amount of essays and detail that he broke down in terms of POT, debuffs, crowd control, things like that, like he actually did pretty good in terms of like being like passive aggressive and still throwing around a whole bunch of knowledge. And I'm actually pissed off that what he ended up saying basically got like no changes done after everything that he did, considering who he is in the community for controlling Engadgets as a whole. Like that's severely irritating.
Yeah, like you needed people that like even like Penren. What was his name before Penren? The other numbers guys. Oh God, I forget his name.
Shiny
Mackerel.
Mackerel, man.
Like Soar. Like you've got all these people that like have lots of knowledge and like I would trust their opinions, but like they're really passive people. Like they're not gonna like speak up or be aggressive. Like they're all neutral, and like you can't necessarily have that if you want to enact change. You need some like aggressive like voice.
Yeah, and then like I also find that kind of funny. Whatever Meps like ended up posting one time in the Discord talking about like, oh, like I don't think the community like thinks that we don't really care about these outbursts, but it's funny that every time there's an outburst or whatever, if it's big enough that they end up making changes. It's like if you don't care about these changes, why do you keep caving?
Yeah, because like when the movement mode debuffs came out, like everyone was against that. Not a single person liked that. They changed it with like within 2 weeks. It's like this was like really stupid. Like you should be ashamed of yourselves. Take this out, and they did.
I don't know. Thank God, though, they started taking feedback from more people.
It's just like I'm actually somewhat happy that it's too late just because I literally just checked the forums every like 30 minutes just to go through and just see. Okay, he said this. Yep, that was right. Okay. Oh, he suggested this. Oh, we suggested this like 3-4 weeks ago.
It's yeah, because we heard how many times Mep said like, yeah, we'll take your advice under advisement. Like the borderline, what the devs should realize is that since like they're new to this game, because most of them are coming from other games, because the staff left or whatever, they don't know about this game, so they should be like open to all kind of feedback. It shouldn't be like a Tunzo situation where like I'm confident that I'm right, and we have Steel being OP in Legends for like 2 years. because he refused to change it. Like Tunzo was like, he was a good dev, but like he was super stubborn. So if you had Tunzo
I'm
was
still
like,
trying to figure out how the Catwoman clip is possible, whatever. As much as they've taken away from clipping out of this game, I'm surprised Catwoman can still do her clip.
Oh my god!
Because they can't duplicate it on their internal servers. Like the reason why Spin Chop and Focus Blast were so overpowered in the beginning of the game, the devs couldn't like duplicate how fast we were clipping Spin Chop, so they thought it was fine. Same way with Catwoman, they can't clip that fast enough for themselves, so they think it's okay, so they leave it. They don't see it being overpowered. Just because they see Clutch do it in a video or something like that, if they can't replicate it, then they can't make a realization for themselves.
Yeah. In the past couple of weeks, and I think Krabby, you'd probably agree with this, like at least on the damage balance stuff, for the most part, like they were really receptive to the stuff that we were putting out there. Like that first thread that we did, the multi-part thread, where we were like, what, like Crystal needs toned down, Stoke Flames, like this is why it has to be this way, but you should tone down the damage. Like we had like 5 or 6 different fixes, and that shit went like to the test server update like the next day or 2 days afterwards. Like
toward the end, it wasn't taking that long.
Yeah, I know, man. They were doing
that. They put a deadline on us at the very, very end when we still had a whole like pretty much a decent amount of fine tuning to still do. I mean, live server is like, how can I put this? I was like, it'd be somewhat balanced for an average player, but for an elitist who's looking for the absolute top damage, yeah, there is going to be flavor of the month and whatever inside of different situations, just because we weren't able to do those in detail patches yet.
Well, we were still doing MEPS testing when they released GU73 on test ramp, because we're like, everyone's like, nah, this won't come out.
73. I was like, what you mean? It's just like, how do you not know we don't have 2-3 other iterations? Like, what you mean?
Yeah, in the back of my head, I was like, this just hit test for sure. Like, it's gonna be 2 weeks just because that's their followed me they follow. And that's why Mentor made that video.
Yeah, initially Proxy ends up coming in or whatever. Proxy ends up coming in, writing up their whole thing, and basically ends up saying the same shit we've been saying since the fucking
It's like, we're still doing the freaking MEPS testing here. Like, how is this ready? How do we have 2 weeks and we're still doing the MEPS testing?
They did really come around at the end, though.
I was just like, literally, my name on test was like MEPS. Like one of my test tunes was like what was it? It was like MEPS only says Gucci, and somebody was just like, why did you steal MEPS' name? You're not MEPS, and I'm just like, bruh.
Yeah, no, they did make a lot of last minute changes.
Yeah, I was really proud and surprised how they came around with the communication and really listening to our feedback and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I would have had like another 2 weeks. Like, I think another 2 weeks could have released a whole lot better than what it did if we had another 2 weeks.
Yeah,
if we could keep this up right now, even though like it's not live, if they could keep up the communication and feedback, like all the little stuff that's fucked up now on live, like we could get that straightened out really quick and get the rest of the stuff polished off if they just keep up like they have been doing.
Yeah. Oh, and as a secondary note, if I'm assuming maybe some people might still be watching this video at this point. Like just going back to PvP really quick. Like everybody already knows a whole bunch of like the broken stuff for PvP, which, as I've said before, has been brought to their attention before at some point inside of Revamp testing, either by me, Silver, Carcass,
Inner
I think
Beast,
Soul,
a lot of stuff.
The thread. I think what was it? Spartacus, I think, or whatever. He's the leader of HB or whatever.
Yeah, Spartacus did all the weapon testing.
A whole bunch of essays or whatever. He was in there. Bryce Allen went through, did a huge breakdown for Legends. So it's just like, we've thrown the feedback out there. They just did go through and change it. And like everybody knows the things that are broken inside of PvP, but the main thing that people need to have in mind right now going forward is like, say for example, like King CC was inside a 5v5 chat trying to get shields changed like back down to 50%. And the thing that worries me the most about that isn't necessarily how it affects shields. It's the repercussions of everything else not being changed in order to compensate for that.
Yeah.
So say, for example, if shields get nerfed and heals gets nerfed,
the nature dot damage,
rage, whatever, like rage, atomic, hard light are still able to spam. If nothing else is changed in addition to some of these changes, it's going to end up changing the meta, and it might end up being for worse overall, because they're not going to go through and do a whole bunch of changes or whatever, because if they go through change healing, they go through and change weapon damage, they go through and change power regeneration, shields or whatever. Like, I can't, if they go through and actually change everything that needs to be fixed, that's basically a PvP update, which they are not doing anytime soon.
No.
Jexter has already said that that's not even planned to be anytime soon. So that's probably going to be after Christmas at the earliest.
And I know a lot of players ask.
I don't want them to go through and just like do like, oh, just blanket nerf shields down to like 25 or 50% health. Nothing else changes. Go through and nerf shields or just increase healing like an X amount. And then they fucking over nerf. What's the name of it? They over buff healing for 4s and 5s, and now you can't kill anybody because any changes to PvP aren't going to go to test server. They're going to go straight to live. So if they over buff or if they over nerf something, we're stuck with those changes. That's what I'm scared of.
And a lot of players, I know they ask like, why can't you just have like in PvE the combos not be interruptible, but PvP they are. And for whatever reason, like, yeah, it sounds, at least to me, because I don't know shit about video games and coding and stuff, like, I sounds like, hey, why can't they do that? But obviously, over the history of the game, they can't code stuff so it works differently in PvP than it works in PvE. I don't know if that's it's a limitation. You can't do that or something.
You would just nerf the damage of it, whatever. The most you would be able to do is just nerf the damage of it as compensation. But they haven't really done that.
Because back when they did the first weapon pass, that screwed up Legends entirely because like weapons got like way out of line with Legends characters because they changed all the weapons for PvE, but they didn't realize that would affect PvP as well. So whatever reason, they can't code stuff separately. So you can't just say, "Oh, I have it work in PvE and not PvP." It's got to be balanced throughout.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. That's just how the game is. That's how it is.
Yeah. But I was just like, that's the main thing. It's just like I just don't want the game to be in an even worse state than what it is right now. It's just like I'd rather it be in like a shield meta and have longer fights where at least I can like somewhat enjoy it. I mean, like
that's why I thought like one of the easiest ways to fix it would be sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like one thing that I've seen people complain about or whatever is like they think that counters don't matter inside of PvP anymore because of the shield meta, and like the thing is like for me, like I'm thinking back to like back in the day, like we back like layer battle type days. Like I remember like whenever you had somebody in like 96, 97, or 98 gear against somebody that was fully geared with mods, it's like hell, I could get 10, 15 counters on him and not kill him just because he was that much stronger than me. It's like to me, I always like whenever I think about back in the day, I was just like counters helped you, but they didn't necessarily win. Just because I got 2, 3 more counters than somebody else didn't guarantee me a kill. It helped me and gave me the opportunity to do more damage, but it didn't guarantee me to fight. Yeah. So it's like if you have a weak loadout that doesn't have a whole bunch of damage on it that can go through shields, yeah, you can counter the guy with shields, but it's like you're still not strong enough in order to actually do it. It's not enough. You'd have to severely out-counter him, which probably isn't going to happen if that person knows what they're doing. Yeah,
plus you got the 5-tap meta now. Like, you've got rifle 5-taps that you can't even block. Like, you can't block through any rifles 5-taps.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid or whatever, I decided to play mind games with somebody that tries to do like a weapon-based like PvP spec, and he does MA uppercut, and I like what's the name of it? Like I can like say for example, if I see somebody using MA uppercut inside of PvP, I'll go through and I'll just sit there and I'll just block and wait for him to BB me. He BBs me, goes for that uppercut. Right before he hits the uppercut, I hit reflect pain, and he ends up taking more damage than what he ends up giving to me. Yeah. Like I just baited him into a counter. In his mind, just because he got a counter or whatever, he thinks that he should be killing me, but I baited him into it. Like the counter, I was just like, counters help you, but for me, they don't necessarily win the fight. Especially whenever if they go back to their RPS system and they remove blues completely, then yeah, technically getting a counter isn't going to do anything. Yeah. If I hit a breakout trinket and get right back up, you basically did nothing.
Yeah, that's why I said like if they bring back the RPS system, they could at least bring back the roles debuffing shields. So like yeah, you have a shield meta, but if that power like a controller can strip a healer shield or something like that with a power, it's they might have to tweak it a bit, but at least then you're using a power, you're stripping a shield or stripping like its you know, strength or whatever.
Yeah, I was just like right now I'm sort of kind of looking at it like I mean like whenever you have like a high amount of damage and it's extremely counter based, like I'm looking at it as almost being like a game of Connect 4. And like right now during the shit like during the shield meta, it's kind of like playing a game. It's like playing like a really, really long game of chess. And whenever you remove blue immunities, the chess game goes by a little bit faster.
Yeah, I was running 2s and stuff, and like I'd run into like healers and DPSs, and like I'm a troll with a munitions shield cheese build. Like I can't die, but I can't kill them either. So it's like, damn, the matches are like 20 minutes long now. It's like,
Like I was gonna say, whatever. Didn't the Orbit host like a 2v2 match with it? And people used to do like what's the name of it? Tanks against like what's the name of it? Against what was it? Healers and controllers, and like it used to. I was like controllers and healers as a combo used to be the hardest thing, but it used to be the best combo for 2v2. But it used to be hard for them to actually kill a tank.
Yeah, like back in the day, like tank duels would last like half an hour.
Yeah, Smile Before Death had a whole bunch of those uploaded. It's like a fucking tank.
Yo, he live streamed the other day.
Yeah, what's the name of it? I was on Twitter and I saw American Hero. He ended up liking it. I was like, yo, he's back, dog.
I was like, yeah, we could add more bad loadouts to the
like, if he would have been on for the fucking gorilla glitch, and he would have gotten one shot in the open world, bro, you didn't know how many videos would have been smashing that man as a gorilla.
Yeah, I can't believe how many fucking people switched to that shit because of the gorilla.
Well, they got a free token. And then, of course, if they're PS, they'll just shout for, hey, buying 10 PSN, need a token.
That's such a waste of a power token, though, because you could literally be the power you want to right now. You could be any fucking power you want and
but
do well with it.
It wouldn't do any damage.
And no, you choose to get a feat.
I mean, but for the first time in the game's history, in a long time, you could play whatever the fuck you want, but still people have to go to something that does a whole bunch of cheesy damage like that, and you know it's only going to last for a couple days.
Yeah, but you know everyone needed their like Dark Side War Factor feats and everything, and all those other feats they couldn't get. Now they have beach balls to get them.
You know, like, the community is so sad, like, when people are doing shit like that. Like,
I just want to see somebody do a fucking
man.
Hey, Crappy, or whatever. I wonder if anybody ever did a beach ball into, what's the name of it? In the Ghost is reflecting just one shot at the entire group.
Yeah, that beach ball, man. That was doing sick damage. And people were like, oh, good thing the testers report. I was like, listen, scumbag, we fucking reported it. Don't be blaming that shit on us.
Like, there's several bugs on live that we have reported for like at least a week in advance before it ended up going to live that they didn't fix.
You know, don't worry. We know what's fucked up. We know what's good. We know what's bad. And we put our feedback in. It's just...
Everybody's going back
the wheel turns slowly sometimes on the other side.
The only thing I will say, they probably do need some sort of test server for more PS players though, because those people are crafty as shit, and they're gonna find like the most cheesiest shit ever. And that me personally as a PC player, I would never even think of.
Yeah, man, I don't try. Like, I'm a PS guy, but like I don't play like that.
Well, so many people do though in the community, so you gotta count for them.
Shit. I'm not trying to stand on this ledge and fall through the fucking shit with clown box, and
I'm not trying to weird roof fence on an oldie using a pterodactyl trinket.
Yeah. Like that's crazy. Like I just play the fucking game. You know, if something's hard, I figure out why it's hard. Why I'm dying. You know, just learn the mechanics. You don't need to be cheesing shit.
Like, I'm still trying to figure out why the gorilla thing ended up being on live for like an extra day. I remember seeing T Lantern inside of Britney's stream, and I could have swore he said it was going to be fixed the next day. I guess somehow it just didn't make it through the hotfix. I don't even know what happened. Maybe they were just missing that line of code.
Well, it ended up being a lot more in depth than they thought. The gorilla actually has another weapon stat on it. Like, let me look at my phone here. I'll tell you. I have a screenshot of it. Where are we at here?
Oh, so it's like a double weapon buff?
So normally you have weapon DPS stat, and then you have a weaponization rating.
Yeah.
But inside gorilla form, you have a stat called weaponization skill, and that's a weaponization skill of 5. Well, you don't have that regularly. So I guess there was something entwined with that stat plus the extra weaponization rating you get from Gorilla. So I think they took the weaponization off of Gorilla because that's like it used to have it from live server. And they had to tweak, I guess, that other weapon skill too to see what was up with that. And it was just a lot more in-depth than they thought it was. But you know what? Coming back to that, like, I don't want to shit on this one guy, but Shinobi was the guy who worked on it and changed it. Now here's me being an asshole. Now, so at the beginning, and this is just stuff I personally don't like, and I don't think stuff should be like this. You should be up on your work. Now, he made some changes to nature earlier on, and the dots turned out to be precision some fucking how. Now, like, if you made changes to the power, and then you went back and you checked your changes, all it would have took was for you to just cast the power, and you would have been like, well, something's fucked up, the dots are precision. But he made the changes, and then he never
No, the
took
devs don't
2
do that,
seconds
though.
to just check the changes.
I'm not sure if you guys are around, but for DLC 3, which was Battle for Earth, if the devs would even tried gates once, they would have realized that the Cyclops bug out and you can't actually pass the first room. Like, the bug shows up in the first, like, the bug shows up in the first minute of the raid, like, the Cyclops doesn't charge, so it's like, oh, this is broken, you can't beat it. Like, if they just would have even tested the raid.
To something and not check it.
Yeah, like, how do you not even run the raid after you've done it? It's like, the Cyclops is a bug, you can't even beat the raid. It's like, great.
So I guess the guy took the weaponization rating off of the gorilla, but then that still didn't solve the problem. But all he simply had to do was go build up a supercharge and pick up a beach ball and smash it on something, and you would have saw it wasn't fixed. Like, I don't like when somebody does work and then they don't check their work to see if it actually
Yeah, they just assume that it's going to work out. It's fine.
You know, like, you can't make a change and then be like, well, we'll just see what happens. Like, why don't you just take the extra minute and check what you did? I can't stand shit like that.
Internal testing. All those hours of internal testing, and they can't just go through and hit one nature DLT.
Seriously, like, and God knows how many other, like, things that happened with too, where we could have avoided something being on our test server and it being fixed before it got there. Just for simply you change it and then you go look at it. You know, like, use it before you make the change.
Another bug technically would have, what's the name that could have been avoided if we had more time was technically, what's the name of it? The last DLC with Age of Justice with USR, in terms of, like, plugging the damn teleporter inside of the final boss.
We told them that, though.
As long as you have people going into different phases, people inside of a league getting switched to the normal race somehow.
Yeah.
We told them that, though, like, the soldier would get stuck outside the shield and stuff. They couldn't fix it.
We still can't get everybody in the same phase sometimes. Sometimes you go into the Grundy section and someone's not in the same phase.
It's usually the tank, which is great.
Yeah. Like, good thing you put the tank in the other phase.
Which is weird, because we've had plenty of raids that involve teleporters, and they've never been stuck in different phases.
I think it's because this is actually, like... maybe that's not it. I was going to say maybe because it's an open world area too, but that one didn't.
The only thing I can think of is that they added a lot more phases to the game because of all those open world bounties.
I was going to say, you would think it would be the same as, like, the Doctor portals. Like,
you have could be a thing too.
Literally, you can go to the side for, like, a little.
Because Mevs mentioned once, like, back when the Star bounty was still up, they had like 300 different phases or something like that.
Maybe a PvP, PvE phase thing too might be getting you.
Because everyone's got in their ability, like in their settings, they've got like the lock phase under like lock your phase toggle option.
Who knows? I just chalk it up to DC Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like whatever. We'll invite you back in. I mean, it sucks.
What's the name of it? As a side note, because I didn't think about it. I had only been using it for controlling, like, chill. You know how they changed the CC trinket to 30 seconds, right?
The what? Sorry.
The CC trinket, they changed it to 30 seconds.
Oh, did
it's like roughly like a 30-second cooldown. You can keep using it.
Yeah. I haven't been that low on power yet to use it, but it's on my bar.
Yeah, I was like, I keep on using it, like just out of the habit or whatever. But some guy brought it up. What's the name of it? On the forums. Whenever I ended up responding saying it was like a 30-second cooldown, he was just like, "Oh, I can use it for my tank now." And I was just like, "Oh shit, I didn't think about that. That's an extra tank shield every 30 seconds." Now.
Yeah, but it's really awkward to activate the second shield for tank, and you can't clip it. Like it really,
like, is it like a regular shield strength? Like what is it?
I'm not sure what it'd be based on. I'm assuming the formula would be the same. It's just really awkward because you got to hit it, then you got to summon it, wait for your hand to come up in the shield icons, and you can't clip it. So you could use it, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't know if it would be 100% because it's not considered a shield. It's considered an activation.
What about don't the healers have like a group shield that they do?
The only OP one's the healer shield. Because that's an 8-man shield.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
That one would be good to have every. So that one would be good to have every.
No, every healer should have the CC trinket for sure. The DPS, it's useless. Trolls, like, yeah, you could.
Troll, it helps if you were like I mean like if you were going straight by for some fucking reason. If you just absolutely had to, then yeah, you probably want to have.
I think for SM it'll be more handy for like prolonged fights, but right now I haven't needed it. But that's because the fights are short.
Yeah. Like I remember there was one time on test server, like shit, I didn't feel like I needed any of my trinkets. Like shit, I was running orbital and sidekicks and shit. I was just like, I don't need any of my freaking trinkets.
I still clip in the Sumper trinket just for the extra bit. I don't need the power back from it, but at least it's a bit bonus.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is there anything that we missed that we want to say about the revamp? I hate
that I can't clip some of my fucking trinkets anymore.
Somebody had to make a video.
Yo, listen.
Yeah, that was your fault.
XP boosters were fucked. I don't care about that.
I don't know why you can't clip backup anymore. That's annoying. You should be able to clip those home turf trinkets.
Oh, come on. God, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I kind of see the home turf trinket thing. I don't like it, but I mean the.
Yeah, but what other trinkets are you going to use? There's nothing.
The one guy isn't clippable. Like the sidekick isn't clippable. So maybe the henchman. Like I could kind of see that, but like the boo trinkets. Like, I can't clip a boo or I can't clip a pumpkin. Yeah. Like, come on.
Well, it's don't the pumpkins still give fake damage, though?
Yeah. I think they need to fix that. But I think a stat buff in trinket should always be clippable. Like, nobody's popping it. Well, I guess some people are fucking losers. And they actually pop it for the extra damage that it does when it dies.
Yeah.
Death Blossom.
You still see Death Blossoms.
I'm happy Parent got the, what's the name of it? I'm happy Parent got the fake damage from turret or whatever, fixed or whatever. I know people would have been using that as a crutch for gadget DPS right now.
Yeah, people used to do that back in the day. They'd pop out the gadget turret and the decoy and blow them up. But see, like, it was different back in the day. A dude was in our Nexus group doing that.
Well, the problem is, like, you're not actually helping the raid because it's fake damage. Same with Time Bomb, like back in the day.
We laughed him out of the group, and people made fun of that dude in chat for days. But nowadays, if somebody found out you could do that, everyone would be like, oh my god, I could do this, and everybody would be doing it. Like, nobody has any fucking, like, respect anymore. Like, you used to get made fun of for doing shit like that, and nowadays, people just do shit like that, and it's
no one made, like, people tried to make fun of you for Death Blossom, but then they ran it themselves. So I was like, what? I didn't even buy that shit.
Like, I don't get that. Like, I make fun of people. Don't use that shit.
Everyone's like, it's like you're pathetic for using Death Blossom, and then like 5 minutes later, the person who called you pathetic has it in their loadout. It's like, what?
Yeah, and they're using it for a DPS comp.
I've literally been in DPS comps with people using that, and like the scores were so close, and the guy was using a Death Blossom, and he actually won by like 40k or something like that. And I pointed out, I'm like, you realize you lost. I was like, if you didn't pull that Death Blossom out 4 times, you would have lost.
Yeah, the problem is like with raids with a lot of cutscenes, it's really OP. Like, what's that? What was that raid? The one where you fight Brainiac at the end and you have to break out the Zod and Supergirl.
What kind of damage is that doing now? Is it still doing like 40k, 35?
Hopefully not, because that would be unbalanced as shit now.
That would be insane.
I'm about to pop one and find out.
I don't know. I don't have any ones. I have the pumpkins. I guess I could, but
because that's a substantial amount of DPS in this meta.
I haven't seen anyone with like crazy numbers, so I don't think they've tried it. But I haven't pugged that much.
I don't have one in my inventory. I have one at my going to my base right now.
Yeah, but yeah, that was like 40 to 60k on explosion.
And it doesn't even damage anything. It's just fake damage. Like, if that blew up and killed some stuff, like, with that damage, like, cool.
Yeah, that's why people justify that heart trinket from the Valentine season, because it heals when it explodes.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a bad one, the one that debuffs everything. It's okay. It kind of does a little bit of a purpose. Alright, here, I got myself a pumpkin now.
Do we have any closing comments or whatever before I end the recording?
I was wondering if you guys just want to go through and, you know, kind of briefly, like, if you're going to give the revamp a grade, and then, like, a couple thoughts on why you would grade it that way, like A, B, C,
D. Wait, you said a grade is in like, oh, okay, a grade, okay.
Yeah, like a school grade.
If I had to give it a grade, shit. Probably say, like, I mean, like, if if I didn't want to be nice, I'd probably give it like a C minus. I mean, like there were a lot of good parts, but at the same time, like I have to deduct a lot of points for how much feedback in order to it actually took in order to get those changes, how long it took to get changes, how long it took in order to get good communication, the lack of video footage from the developers, the lack of insight into how they view things until recently has also pissed me off. The amount of bugs from different power sets has pissed me off. The amount of not breaking this damn damage formula in order to actually get balance among the DPS powers has pissed me off.
For final grade, though, so that's the process. Maybe you go, okay, you got process grade, and then you got the final product grade. So what was your final?
I was just like, process grade is like a D for me. Final grade is like a C to C plus.
What if you were just grading it
on the good side?
What if you were just grading it on where it's at in a PvE stance on live server?
I would still put it as C plus because like when you think about it, like what really has changed? Weapon mastery combos are still there; they're still prevalent. DPS powers, like when you think of quantum play from the tray is still hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's still similar to AMs. It's just they don't get power regen. That heavy clip play style is like, yeah, it's prevalent in hard light, but on the other power sets is not. Like you can't bot clip, you can't clip with like multiple powers anymore. They all have like 18-second, 12-second cooldowns.
I was like, and even for hard light, it's only on single target, and the power consumption is so damn high that even with
like there's no fast play style clipping anymore because the powers are so limited. Play from the tray is really just it's like AMs. You're still hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like nothing's really changed. Controllers are still batteries. Healers.
I'm totally in
even
agreement.
more of a battery than what they are online.
Yeah, Alek still burst. Celestial still balanced. Nature's still like hottie balanced. Like the tanks shields are still prevalent. Like the meta changed.
I mean, like shit. Like to be honest, like instead of for the 8-socket bonus, I wouldn't have actually have minded if like you know how like whenever we originally had to throw our POT like the 8-socket bonus was like what's the name of it? Wasn't it the 8-socket bonus allowed us to have a free POT? I wouldn't mind if they actually made the 8-socket like a free supercharged generator. Yeah. Like I would actually like that.
Something meaningful. Like now the elite gear is so shit and like you don't even need elite gear, the proc should be damn well like amazing to force people to get elite gear.
That is a good point.
I will say that I do like the weapon sockets proccing every 20 seconds though. For DPS for power regeneration, that is actually kind of helpful.
But for me, like it's still like around a C because nothing really changed. Yeah, it's not as slow as weapon mastery and AM, but like it's damn near the same.
Isn't it? Like shit, that's like over a wildfire crit, isn't it?
Yeah, man, that's the highest hit in the game, just about. Bigger.
Cool. So I'm rocking that.
I would give it a C too, just because. I mean, if they change some things and everything gets straightened out, like a couple tanking things, a couple healing things, controller things, and DPS stuff. That'll bring the grade up.
We could get it up to a B within 2 weeks if we kept on or whatever with the feedback stuff, whatever. In 2 weeks, we could have gotten it up to a B grade. It wouldn't be an A unless all of this shit had happened like 4 months from now and it'd been like this from the start.
Nah, you can't go back to A because you just compare it to before GU36 where like you had unlimited loadouts, you had that fast play style.
Oh, true. Never mind over that. We can get up to like a B pushing B plus.
Like, I definitely dig that you could be whatever power you want. I like the AMs are gone. There's a little bit more freedom in things, not like a ton, but there is some more. But there's also
that's the only reason why this revamp is not a D for me, because the power sets are so similar now that you have options to run. You could be whatever you wanted. You don't have to be mental. You don't have to be munitions for big gun. That's why it's not a D for me. It's like you actually have the freedom now.
Yeah, I was like, it's actually funny. Like if you guys went to like the website and like seen like the notes or whatever, like it's sort of kind of like on the accomplishments of the revamp or whatever, like how you would put it on a resume, just like I created a revamp and it had these goals that we accomplished and we invented this and we made sure this was possible. Like have you guys seen that list?
I think I have.
They tweeted it out.
I was just like, whenever I went through and saw that list, I was laughing my ass off just because I was like, yeah, they technically did this, but it wasn't even actually done correctly.
Yeah. That's the same thing. Like they hyped up battle tanking forever. Battle tanking for ice, you're still hitting shields. You're not hitting any of your powers. It's just because you don't have to block anymore. Same with fire, you don't have to block anymore. Yay, but you're still hitting the same powers. So it's like, what changed? You just don't block.
Yeah, all you get to do is just use your weapon. I was just like, it's not interactive anymore. I mean, if you really wanted to get into like a true like battle tanking as fire, I mean, you probably have to have like some severe interactions, like what's the name of it?
What you have to be like celestial battle tanking, where like
whenever you hit that or whatever, you'd have to have something like that. Yeah. Just like, any move that you hit as fire on a burning enemy will instantly heal you for this amount. So you could go through and you could trade in and probably put some DPS stuff on your loadout that'll still heal you good.
Like old Rage was kind of close because Rage had powers where your healing or was proportionate to the damage you did. Same thing with like celestial battle healing. Like celestial battle healing when it came out was OP as shit. Like you would heal in PvP and DPS gear, because the heals based on your damage are so strong. Like stuff like that would have to come back.
Yeah, I think they need to.
They
work on some of that stuff.
Another series of updates.
In better shape.
I was like, I'm just seeing them having another set of updates or whatever. Once everybody figures out the flavor of the months, and once everybody once everybody starts seeing the problems for the healers and the controllers more, I have a feeling we are going to have a second set of updates, but I'm not going to be testing that, so I'm not worried.
I just want everyone to figure out how to use everything to its max potential, so I could stop hearing, this sucks, this is OP, blah, like all that stuff.
You have to be Rage, Elec, or Earth, or your shit.
Yeah, like I wish people just would figure everything out. Like I can't wait for a couple months for people to figure everything out.
To run robot sidekicks. Along with a whole bunch of other things. Like if there weren't so many shitty players like posting loadouts on fucking YouTube, like half of the talk wouldn't even be there. People selling loadouts inside a trade chat on the hero and the villain side. You had somebody trying to sell, I have the best atomic loadout for 600k. Like it's the exact same as there. Like, are you serious right now?
What's nice though is, like I think Mighty touched on it before, is powers specialize in different areas now with some of them. Like Elect kills ads, not awesome on bosses. It's good on bosses, but it's not as good as some other powers on bosses, but it really kills some ads.
And then
different powers are good
on ads, but then fun as hell on single target.
Mm-hmm. And that's nice. So it's not like necessarily flavor of the month, but it's just more situational.
I mean, like, I don't know. Would people go? I was like, how can I put this? Depending on what healing powers, so like assuming Elec is going to end up being the healer for SM, like if people end up running 3 trolls for SM, do you think people would bring in hard light DPSs just for the extra single target burn, since they'll actually be powered with 3 trolls?
I think so.
I think they'd be mistaken not to.
Yeah, be honest me too. With you. Big time. Yeah. But people don't. Right now, people don't give a shit if it has amazing single target burn, because they just want to be.
But still, though, would you take Celestial single target over hard light? Because Celestial, you'd have CG.
Yeah, because Celestial single target is only good mid range.
Which one? What's the name of? Which one has higher for max range or whatever?
Most SMs though are not max range though. Especially when we got HH coming up and Trigun.
Like what's the name of it?
I'd rather have something that you never have to worry about being in a distance.
I'm thinking like Ursa and Zod. I'm thinking Ursa and Zod from what's the name of it? From
Foss is max range.
Way back.
Yeah.
What's the Celestial single target? What did you parse that at? What was your best one?
Right now, like, on test server it was 7+.
Oh, because I can beat that with hard light.
Oh right? Yeah, for sure.
F4 range.
Mm-hmm. I would rather not be trapped to a range. What's the name of
the hand clap is bugged on live, whatever. I had Shaz tested yesterday. It is bugged on live.
Is it still dropping my PI damage?
What's the name of it? How can I put this? If you hit hand clap and get like a damage window, and then you use chompers and then hit hand clap, it will do less damage. Just like the initial tick, or whatever. We didn't test the construct damage, but just the initial might tick whenever you first hit it is less if you have the PI on.
Awesome.
That's still bugged. Because I was like, like I still want to go through and do that, whatever. And it's actually kind of funny too, because one guy was on YouTube or whatever. He was just like, "Oh, this is the best hard light loadout," and he was using hand clap spam, and I was just like, hand clap his butt.
I love the hard light loadout guys that all have robot sidekick. I'm like, yo, dude, you're gonna be about 10 seconds into that fucking loadout. About 10 seconds, and you are gonna be done.
I had somebody or whatever inside of my video or whatever tell me that like my loadout or whatever for hard light like wasn't realistic inside of a raid. I was just like, I can run this inside of a raid. The only reason I even run low inside of this video using Ram Whip is just because one of my controllers is sitting at 40 CR because like over half of his gear is taken away. Like I was basically doing that with one controller.
Yeah.
I think the people learn what's good and what's not, and the meta will change depending on content. You know, you gotta stand far back. I mean,
either that or bot clipping will come back with some kind of hotfix that'll unbreak it.
I'm hoping. It's
I might know a secret or two. But I'm the kind of person who I prefer to just stand in the back. You know, like, I don't give a shit if I'm not going to kill the ads as fast as someone, because I don't need to have the feel to be top DPS and everything. Man, sure, it's great to be top DPS, but, like, I care about if my power kills a boss, because nobody struggles on the fucking ads. But you struggle on the boss. You know, I would rather have good boss burn at max range and not be pressured to stand mid-range or something like that. I mean, that's just me. That's not how a lot of people feel.
You don't want to be mental and be shit at mid-range as soon as you can't use Mass Terror anymore?
No, man, I hate it. That's why I hate it being mental or like, not gadget so much, but like mental. Like, I hate mass lev. I hate being trapped inside of an area to do damage. That's why I like nature. I like electric. I just like to stand wherever the fuck I want to stand. I don't want to have to worry about standing close. That's just how I feel, though. Like, you could be as OP as you want in your mid-range shit. I don't give a fuck. You know, because there's going to be a time when you get your ass kicked because you have to stand mid-range distance like that. And there's going to be some times where you can't stand mid-range. So, I mean, it is what it is. Works both ways. But I just prefer to stand in the back. I'm safe. Most of the time. We'll see all those mid-range people in SM, though. I mean, I guess this SM, some SMs you can. But again, yeah. I like to be safe. I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah, prove new wrong.
I'm trash. I'm irrelevant. I don't know anything, dude. Man, I don't know, though. I'm a stand in the back kind of guy.
I'm safe. New set, I control people.
I'm going to blur all my loadouts out. Yeah, this Central City trinket is fucking sweet, though. I just pulled it out of my bag.
It should be for 60 marks of victory.
Oh, yeah, alright.
Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the recording since I think we finished up pretty much.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say at this time. Pretty good.
Alright, anything else, Mighty? You good?
No, man, I appreciate, I would say I'm a B on the revamp if I was going to grade it out.
Like B minus, B plus?
Probably a low, like low to mid B. Like, I think that there are a lot of fixes that they need to come through with yet. I think it's a good start. But, you know, also context is important, right? Because I'm light guy coming from infinite combos, actually getting to equip shit again. And even though that's somewhat limited and extremely power hungry, like, it's a million times better than it used to be. And I was only here for like a month and a half. So I didn't have to, you know, ask for the same thing 20 times over.
Yeah, I was like, me and Crappy have like.
Yeah, you didn't go through the struggle
like,
that we did.
Build up or whatever. That's that difference between that B minus and that C to C plus.
Yeah. I mean, like, you made the comment the other day, like, I kind of just parachuted in at the end, and like I did. And so I didn't have like as negative of some of those experiences. I think it's a step in the right direction. I think there's more work definitely to be done.
All right, chill. Anything else you want to say besides the fact that you were right?
Yeah. Yeah, don't blame me in the feedback. I wasn't allowed to post on the forums anyway.
Oh, well, I mean, like, at least you helped get tank changed for a fire tank.
Yeah, true. I can make my videos, but less people see them now.
If I was going to grade this revamp and I could play nature, I'd give it a fucking A. But that would be basing around me being able to play nature.
Yeah, that's because true. Nature and elect players are happy.
Now I could just
Like, I could give
play
this
my two
revamp
favorite
an F
powers
from-
now, man. I'm like a pig in shit over here.
Hey, Crappy, as a mental bro, you rated a F.
Right. You're mental. Whew. Sucks to be you right now. Good troll power. And you could do good damage mid-range and melee. But, I see I'm standing in the back, guys, so I grade stuff on stand in the back. You know, I'll let everybody else get punched in the face while I stand in the back. I'm cool, dude. But then you know what stand in the front guy always gets me killed? Because I had to come pick his dumb ass up, and then I get lured in and get killed because of him.
No. You get killed because he ends up attacking during reflect. That's what happens.
Like, you know, man, if you were just standing in the back here next to me, it would have been cool.
We would have lived.
Except Ghost
Alright,
targets.
guys.
Except Ghost targets you with the pistol because your range.
I gotta dip out. Little kid stuff.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, we can
Alright,
end it.
man.
Alright, take care, fellas.
Yeah,
Have a
take
good
care.
night.
Going to